Happy Monday. Damn. It looks like the Bengals are going to beat the Rams. All I needed was, I don't know if you guys do this thing called price picks, but I was 5 for 5 going into Monday, and I needed Kyren Williams, the running back for the Rams, to score a touchdown. Don't matter if it was rushing it in or, off a pass reception into the end zone. I don't think he's going to get it. So I'm going to fall short. Could have won a pretty penny. When I look back between the rivalry of Charlo versus Canelo's, right? Their days back at 154. And you look at the fights that Canelo had at 154. Erislandy Lara, James Kirkland, Liam Smith, Austin Trout, Floyd Mayweather, Perro Angulo, Amir Khan. It's not a bad list of fucking names, right? And at 154, much like at 160, much like at 168, at 175, one thing has been consistent. Well, there's been a lot of things with Canelo, but one of the things that I've always noticed is he's always had stamina problems, right? And I guess what I mean by stamina problems is he shows fatigue, but it's not like he gasses out in 3 rounds, 4 rounds. No, you have to withstand a shit ton of punishment that Canelo is going to throw at you, right? So, for instance, I saw him kind of tire out against Austin Trout. Even in the same round where he dropped Austin Trout started to come back in that round and literally started walking down Canelo. And like that was for the end of the rounds as well. I saw the same thing with Perro Angulo. It was so one-sided. And then Canelo's hand started to drop. He started late on the ropes a little more. And Perro Angulo was able to tag him. At 160, you saw, it's hard to say because I think a lot of people would tire out with a great fighter in Golovkin, right? And you see the same thing in the fight against John Ryder at 168. And you saw it at 175 against Dimitri Bivol. So Canelo has always, right, when you take him into deep waters or you're able to withstand his punishment, he does tire out in the later rounds, right? His hands start to drop and he starts to rely on like slipping, right? Nice little head movement that he's got. Amazing. One of the things that I've noticed though is Canelo hasn't really faced a huge list of punchers, right? When I look at 154, Erislandy Lara has good pop, but I wouldn't necessarily call him a puncher. Perro Angulo, I would consider him a puncher, right? And that's probably about it at 154. At middleweight, obviously the puncher would be Danny Jacobs and it would be Triple G, right? Especially Triple G. But who has Triple G really knocked out? I know he has an amazing resume in terms of like knockout ratios, like 31 wins at the time, 28 KOs. But like up to that point, like the biggest name before fighting Canelo, it was David Lemieux and Curtis Stevens, right? Then he fought Danny Jacobs, dropped Danny Jacobs, but it was more of a flash knockdown, and Danny got back up instantly, and he ended up giving Triple G a really good fight, right? Obviously, we know Triple G is a KO artist. He can hit. He's got a great jab. But in the biggest fights that at least I saw Triple G in, one of the things that I was surprised about is he had an impeccable jab, an amazing, hard, stiff jab. In fact, all the fights when he fought against Canelo, his jab was the best punch. That was at least the punch that landed the most against Canelo, right? It was his jab. So in his biggest fights, he didn't really like show you that amazing streak of power. Obviously, you knew he had it, but it was more based off volume. It was based off more of that jab. Damn, he fucking made it. Fucking Evan McPherson. I might say this. I don't think Canelo has really faced, besides Triple G, he hasn't really faced a big puncher. I'm not going to say a big puncher like Jermell, right? Because Jermell has only done it in one weight class. But Jermell has essentially knocked out every single fighter that he's faced at 154. Like in terms of his run of, being a champion, right? He knocked out Banana, right? He beat John Jackson. I think that was for the WBC, maybe even before then. He did knock out Brian Castano. I would probably say, and Canelo did fight Miguel Cotto, and up until that point, Miguel Cotto was coming off basically 3 wins by KO. He had knocked out Daniel Gale, knocked out Devin Rodriguez, and then he knocked out Sergio Maravilla, and then he fought Canelo Alvarez, right? But I think Jermell still might be the biggest puncher that Canelo has faced in quite some time. I know that sounds like a crazy statement, but for instance, John Ryder is not a knockout artist. Callum Smith, he has the potential to be, right? Or he could be one. Billy Joe Saunders isn't a KO artist, neither is Caleb Plant. And for that matter, neither is Dimitri Bivol, right? I think Canelo understands the assignment. I think he understands that this could be a war, and this could be one of the biggest punches that Canelo has faced. Because again, at 154, he didn't really face a big puncher. The biggest puncher there that he faced would be like James Kirkland and Perro Angulo, right? But James Kirkland might have been like 2 years of inactivity when Canelo faced him. But you saw it was an amazing barn burner of 3-4 rounds. Like they straight went at it, especially James Kirkland. I don't know if he was trained by Ann Wolf at the time, but he straight went at Canelo, and Canelo was laying ropes, on the ropes, back up against the wall, and he took it, and then he took it well, and boom, boom. He started catching James Kirkland in between. Amazing fucking fight. It was our version of not Sugar Ray Leonard. It was a Marvin Hagler of Tommy Hitman Hearns. They just went at it. Boom. And then it was short-lived. And Canelo had one of the amazingest knockouts that he's had in his career. Right up there with Amir Khan. And then it would be Perro Angulo. And then the skill differential, it was there. But mostly the speed differential. Canelo showed amazing combination and just hand speed. He was just that much faster than Perro Angulo. He was beating him to the punch. For every punch that Perro Angulo threw, Canelo had 4, dogging him. And again, at 160, Danny Jacobs and Triple G. And at 168, Canelo didn't really face a big puncher. And at 175, Kovalev would be a big puncher, but I think that was a 40-year-old Kovalev. So when it's all said and done, Jermell just might be the biggest puncher and one of the most decorated fighters that Canelo has faced since Triple G. I know that sounds fucking crazy, but it's the reality, right? Not one fighter that Canelo has faced has been undisputed. So that has to stand for something, right? Even if it is at a smaller weight class. Like, it still means that you are the top dog. You are the kingpin in that division. And as we've noticed, right? When a fighter that's undisputed at a smaller weight classes and goes up, right? Like, for instance, Naoya Inoue, after he became undisputed, he moved up and beat a unified champion, undefeated champion, and Stephen Fulton. He completely dominated Fulton, right? Teofimo Lopez, I'm going to say he's undisputed, right? Even though he lost to Kambosos, he was still an undisputed champion. When he moved up and fought another undisputed fighter, Josh Taylor, he completely dominated him. 10 rounds to 2, right? Terrence Bud Crawford being undisputed at 140 when he moved up to welterweight, completely dominated the welterweight division and dominated Errol Spence to become a 2-time lineal ring undisputed champion. Maybe there's a trend. Maybe Jermell dominates Canelo, right? Because when I look back at the time between Canelo at 154 and Jermell at 154, right? The Jermells at the time were the threats, right? It was Jermell, Jamal. Jermell at the time, he didn't look as good as he has looked in the past couple of years. In fact, he was considered the little bro. Jermall was the one that looked dominate, like he was a force at 154. The way he knocked out J-Rock, the way he dominated Sergey Derenchenko, Jermall was the force before, everything that's been going on with him in his life. And Jermell was the outboxer with Ronnie Shields, right? At least that's how he used to fight in that Vanes Maritosen fight. Soon after, once he got to Derrick James, he started to sit down on his shots, had probably a little bit of tougher sparring, and the knockout started to come as he stopped, bouncing on his feet. It's going to be a very interesting fight, man. I don't think a lot of people are giving Charlo, just respecting the skills of Charlo. One of the things that I will say is this. Brian Castaño is a poor man's Canelo Alvarez, right? In terms of experience, punch resistance, strength. That's what Castaño lacks. But everything else, he's very similar to that of Canelo, right? Very similar to that of Canelo. And I think he's going to give Canelo a really good fight. Now, I'm a betting man. I like to bet. I don't like to bet against people, but I like to bet on the websites, right? And the casinos, I think they have like Charlo at like 350, maybe plus 500, plus 600 by decision. I'm not too sure. I would have to check online. I don't think he'll knock out Canelo. I don't think that will happen. Canelo's too defensively responsible. I don't think Jermell will show the volume of that of Bivol. And to be honest with you, I don't know how well Jermell can take Canelo's power, right? Because Jermell at 154, he's got a good chin at 154. He looks strong. He's fast. His power shows out at 154. But I don't know how he would look at 168, right? Because like Bivol said, Canelo is the strongest puncher that I faced, even more so than a 6'4" Zurdo Ramirez that walks over 200 pounds, right? Canelo has that speed, has great punch technique, great punch selection, and he's willing to go head, body and head, right, with both hands. So when Bivol says that Canelo is the hardest puncher that he's faced over, let's say, Joe Smith Jr., that stands for something. And I don't know how well Jermell is going to take that power from Canelo, right? Because one of the things is this. Jermell likes to stand and fight, and he also likes to box. In the Castaño fight, in both of the Castaño fights, he got hit. He got hit with Castaño's best punch. He would smile, and he took it well. Against Tony Harrison in both fights, he got hit a lot, right? In the first one, he got hit with straight punches. And in the second fight, there was punch sequences that Tony Harrison threw, like a double or a triple left hook, and he was connecting on Charlo. And I felt like Tony Harrison was doing very well, way better in the second fight than he was in the first, but he was getting caught switching or actually just exchanging blows and exchanging left hooks with Charlo. And Tony Harrison shouldn't have done that. What he should have done is first get the respect of Charlo, hit him well, and then start boxing on the outside as you start accumulating the rounds, right? So you have to have a strategic game plan when you fight Charlo, at least if you're a fighter at 154. When I look at the Jason Rosario fight, right, he's a pretty big puncher, and he was hitting Jermell well. And you can see Jermell was like, oh, man, this fucker hits hard. But he had more dog than banana, right? Rosario has that quit in him. I've never seen a man ever get dropped by a punch, in the navel or below the belly button. It wasn't a solar plexus shot, and I've never seen a boxer ever puffer like a fish like that. Like Banana looked, right? Jason Rosario looked like a fish out of water, out of his bulk. Just, it looked horrible. I was just like, bro, I know in the previous round you got dropped and you got folded like a chair, but it just showed me that he had quit, especially on that punch. I don't know how many big punchers Jermell Charlo has faced, right? And to be honest with you, I don't know really how many big punchers Canelo has faced himself. You know, you would obviously say Miguel Cotto. You would obviously say, you know, Triple G, Danny Jacobs, Perro Angulo, right? It's just a quick little Google search on BoxRec. You would see these things. The same thing with Jermell, right? I mean, I don't think a lot of people would call Erickson Lubin a knockout artist, but he knocks people out. I mean, he was able to put down in sparring Edgar Berlanga, and that's a 168 pounder. So I bring all this to say that this is going to be a really good fight. And I don't know if Canelo is in for a rude awakening. I'm not going to say that yet because there's 3 or 4 deciding factors that I really don't like in this fight with Jermell. I know Jermell will be taller. He has longer reach, which is good. But the inactivity of over a year, the hand surgery, moving up 2 weight classes, right? In terms of being in shape, I know he's going to be in shape. It's going to be very simple. But what about your timing? What about to be able to properly execute your game plan, right? Now, I believe if you have great sparring and if you do certain things that are out of the element, like maybe sparring without headgear and letting the other fighters have smaller gloves and they fight with headgear, I believe you can do certain things to be able to, you know, make up for lost time, so to speak. But I don't know Jermell is doing that. I don't really know his sparring partners, right? If you were to call in Brian Castano, that would be good work. But I'm excited for this fight. Obviously, the undercard is also amazing and stellar. You have I think Yordenis Ugas, I'm not gonna say he's shot, but I think Mario Barrios is going to beat him by decision, right? When I was looking at Yordenis Ugas, I don't know if this was before or after he teamed up with Ismael Salas, but he struggled with a couple of fighters that I wouldn't have thought Ugas should have struggled with, right? I think he struggled with. I was watching Tomás Dolorme, and I just really wasn't impressed with him, and I was just like, damn. And I know he beat Omar Figueroa, and he beat Manny Pacquiao, but these are fighters that are very small, right? Omar Figueroa, I believe he was really good at 135 or at 140. And then there was a whole lot of wrong things that went on in Omar Figueroa's career. He started drinking. He started getting incarcerated. He couldn't really make weight. He was all over the place, right? He looked like a fat, skinny guy. And damn, bro, they're fucking swarming. So there was a whole lot of things that I didn't like about Omar Figueroa, and that was essentially Yordenis Ugas' best wins, right? And then obviously he beat Manny Pacquiao. I was impressed in that fight because he stood his ground. He didn't really allow Pacquiao to like push him back. He just caught a bunch of punches, pushed Pacquiao off, and he was able to work his punches. That was a really good fight. But that's an older version of Pacquiao. I'm not going to take credit away from Ugas' victory because, again, that same Pacquiao, just the fight before, had knocked down and beat Keith Thurman. Uh-oh. There we go, Bradford. That a boy, bro. 235. Second strip it down. Wahoo! And where's my fucking coffee at, man? Oh, here it is. So I think Mario Barrios is going to upset Yordenis Ugas. Again, he's been very inactive. Actually, both fighters have been. But I think that punishment that he got from Errol Spence, I think that's going to take a toll from Ugas. And I think Barrios will, I think he'll beat him, man. I think he'll beat him by decision. I also think Armando Resendiz will beat Elijah Garcia. I didn't like how Elijah Garcia looked in his last fight. He had the same punch variation, always throwing the same sequence of punches, and he also gassed out. And Armando Resendiz being trained by Manny Robles and then beating Jarrett Hurd. I thought that was a really great fight for him. Again, Jarrett Hurd had just lost his dad and might have been inactive for like a year or two. So you have to take that into consideration. And then that leaves us with Jesus Ramos versus Erickson Lubin, right? In the co-main event. That's a tough one, man, because I also feel like Erickson Lubin could beat Jesus Ramos because Jesus is huge. He reminds me of Zurdo when Zurdo was at 168. And Jesus Ramos, he's wise beyond his age. I've seen a few of his interviews, and he's very disciplined, very intelligent young man. But that's one of the things that he is. He's a young man. And I've seen fights of Jesus Ramos where he struggles with fighters that are faster than him. And Erickson Lubin is going to be faster than him. And I don't know if Jesus Ramos is as, I know he's rugged, but it's based off a lot on his jab and controlling distance. But I don't know if Erickson Lubin lands one of his uppercuts, right? I don't know how Jesus Ramos is going to fare like Sebastian Fundora. I believe Jesus Ramos is better than Sebastian Fundora. For Fundora, being 6'7" of what he is, he doesn't really use his height to his ability, nor is Fundora really fast. And he likes to fight on the inside, right? It's kind of like Brandon Figueroa as well. He's like fucking 5'11", and he wants to fight as if he's 5'5". It's just like, bro, you guys not know how to use your length? Like, you guys are taking away your guys' biggest asset. So I think even all the underdogs can fucking pull a victory this Saturday, right? Starting with Jermell, I think he can pull a victory. Erickson Lubin as well. Mario Barrios and Armando Resendez. That would be fucking nuts. So if you guys got $10, just do a fucking 4-5 parlay, go on the underdogs and all those guys, and you might just fucking pull it out of your ass and might win some good cash. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Let me see, for instance, what this shit would look like. All right. Sports. Oh, wow. Over here, boxing. All right, let's see something. So let's say you went for Mario Barrios. He's plus 230, right? Then let's say you go Jose Armando Resendez. He's plus 320. And let's say you go Erickson Lubin, plus 340. And let's say you go, oh, where's Canelo at? Okay, Jermell Charlo, plus 325. If you were to put $10 down, you would win $2,581. That's not bad at all. Oh, give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Oh, man, I need... Damn, hold on, guys. Hold on now. Come on, Kyron Williams. Bring it home, baby. Bring it home. I need this. Oh, my gosh. Do not pass it, bro. Kyron on the flat. Kyron on the flat. Just throw it away, bro. Actually, 3rd and goal. And the Rams have the ball basically like in the 2-yard line. They're not going to win this game, but I need Kyron Williams to score a touchdown just so I can win these price picks. Turn $20 to 500. It'd be nice. Third and goal, 1 minute left. Oh my God. I don't even know why I bet, man. I never win this shit. Just draw back. Touchdown. Wow, they went to Atwell or Atwater. That's not bad. That shit wasn't gonna happen either. Why y'all gotta do that shit, man? Just fucking run it with Kyron Williams, man. I don't ask for much. Just one thing, man. Damn. Atwell, nice. Little out route to the end zone, untouched. They didn't really care. But yeah, man, that's how I look at those situations. I think all the underdogs can win this weekend, right? Obviously, the one that I wouldn't really favor that well would be Charlo, just because given those contexts and those factors. So I would most likely favor Canelo by decision, but Canelo could also knock him out, like break his jaw type of thing. So according to the casinos, they have Saul Canelo Alvarez. If you were to put money on the KO, TKO, or disqualification for him to win, it would be plus 275. So they're expecting this fight between Canelo and Charlo to go by decision. All right. And if you were to go Jermell exclusively by decision, it would be plus 500. I don't think Jermell would be able to KO Canelo. He might, just like a fucking outlandish idea, right? Because all it takes is really one punch that you don't see. But let's just say Canelo by KO. All right, let's say Canelo by KO. Fucking Matthew Stafford. Fuck that dude, man. Always hated fucking LA. Yo. Come on, man. Refresh, bruh. Fucking on my mojo here. All right. So let's say Canelo by KO, right? Plus 275. Let's go. I got Mario Barrios to beating Yordenis Ugas by decision. That's plus 375. So even the casinos think that's possible. Damn, it's only 824. Me fucking arden los ojos. Wow. And let's say we said Mario Barrios by decision. Jose Armando Resendez. I think he could knock out Elijah Garcia, but I'm going to just go by him by decision as well. Plus 900. Damn. All right. And then Erickson Lubin versus Jesus Alejandro Ramos. Man, I don't like betting against La Raza. But I'm going to go Ramos. Oh, I could see him knocking him out. Like I don't see why Lubin would try to draw this shit out. Fuck, that's tough. Damn, would Lubin pull out of the decision? Like, could he knock out Jesus Ramos? What do you guys know about Jesus Ramos? Like, I've seen him a couple of fights. I seen that one fight. I think he fought Santillan, or there was a fighter from LA that he fought, and he was avenging his uncle, Abel Ramos. Where the fuck is my phone? And he didn't really look particularly great in that fight. For as big as he was and making that other fighter move up, because I think Abel Ramos, Jesus Ramos' uncle, he's a 147 pounder, maybe 154. I know he's the one that retired Omar Figueroa, making him piss out blood because with all those body shots that he was giving him. Jesus Ramos box rec. Let's check this out real quick. What fight was he that he looked pretty mediocre? So obviously Jesus Ramos is a knockout artist, I guess. 20 wins, 16 by KO. He's 5'10 with a 72 reach, and he's 22 years old. Luke Santamaria, that's who he was. And then his last fight, he fought the other young cat and Joey Spencer. I thought he looked great in that fight. And yeah, so he basically won 7 to 8 rounds against him versus Luke Santamaria. I wasn't that impressed by Jesus Ramos. Not in that fight, at least. He looked amazing against Joseph Spencer, and he knocked out Vladimir Hernandez. For those who don't know who Vladimir Hernandez is, right? He's like a Russian Mexican, I believe. I don't know. I'm just joking. I don't know. But he beat this guy named Lorenzo Truck Simpson, who was 13-0. He was supposed to be like this amazing, badass fighter, up-and-comer from Baltimore, and Vladimir Hernandez fucking knocked him out. Wait, I don't know if he knocked him out or he dropped him. And he was supposed to be like, I mean, because he's from Baltimore, so he had ties to Tank Davis, and he got beat in his last fight. Man. Lubin or Jesus Ramos? What the fuck, bro? That's just tough. So just check this out. Just that 3-fight parlay. Saul Canelo Alvarez by knockout. Mario Barrios by decision. Jose Armando Resendez by decision. The odds are already at plus 17,713. Just a 3-fight parlay. That's wild. Shit, my bad, Drew. I don't even know if you've been here the whole time, brother. How you been, man?
Well, I've been waiting for like 30 minutes, bro.
Oh, shut up.
Now I'm fucking around. I just got here, man.
Oh, okay, for sure. So I was like, what the fuck? My bad, bro. I was on this Bovada website. Let me ask you a question, Drew.
Yeah.
Who you think wins, Jesus Ramos or Erickson Lubin?
Jesus Ramos. I think Jesus Ramos has a chin. I think he is there to get hit, but I mean, dude got a shell. I mean, he's just gonna give Lubin too hard of a time. He does like to exchange though. Lubin does. He does like to engage a lot, and I feel like that's what's gonna make it entertaining. But I think stylistically it's fit for Jesus Ramos, to dominate. Actually, I think he'll dominate him. I think he'll put him out. In my personal opinion, in the sometime in the fight, but just because Lubin has been through a lot of wars, and that's what gives him a chance to actually win the fight, actually against someone like Jesus Ramos. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think he produces enough power to. He does have power. It's just he's not that. It's not that elite power, to really make him wary of that. I think Jesus Ramos is not scared of this dude. Just listen to him talk in the press conference.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this man is confident. He's
he's
definitely
confident.
Yeah, he's not even trying to show it, and you could he's just stating facts, and stuff. When you get fighters like that who are really confident, I mean, by paper he was already going to win, but now his mouth is really winning me over. So that's why I'm saying now, stoppage. What about you, man? You having a hard time with it?
Yeah, because
Lubin does give people a hard time. He does give people a lot of people a hard time. Like, I feel like
would you consider Erickson Lubin a dumb fighter? What I mean by that is kind of like Sebastian Fundora, kind of like Brandon Figueroa. I call them dumb fighters. They're great fighters, right?
Like taking the wrong fights, maybe.
But what I mean is they don't really take advantage of their biggest assets. For instance, Sebastian Fundora, he's 6'7", right? Very disciplined. He throws a lot of punches, which is good, but he doesn't really fight tall. He fights as if he was like 5'5". He wants to get on the inside, and he can use his leverage, all those uppercuts, right? He's a really good inside fighter, right? And when I look at Brandon Figueroa, same thing. When he fights like Luis Neri, even though he knocked him out with a body shot, but all these other fighters like Stephen Fulton that he's faced, even Mark Maxey, I'm like, bro, why are you 5'11" and not using your height and your reach, right? He wants to get in there and fight like he's 5'2". Going back to Erickson Lubin, he's relatively tall, but I don't feel like he uses his strongest asset, and that would be his ability to box. He wants to get in there and mix it up, right? So when I've seen him fight against Sebastian Fundora and I was watching the tape, I was like, all right, bro, you dropped this dude, right? It almost seemed like he wanted to show the world that he was tough, right? Because everybody knows him from that moment of being slept in the first round by Jermell Charlo, and basically, he was spazzing out in the center of the ring off one punch. So I felt like a lot of people were saying like, he's chinny, he don't got what it takes in boxing, he was just an overly hyped fighter. So in that fight against Fundora, he's like, all right, then he had a point to prove, right? That I'm a fucking dog. So no one ever questions now Erickson Lubin's heart because of what he gave you in that Fundora fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he showed that, like, oh, bro, I'm willing to look ugly. I'm willing to take out punishment to dish it out. He was looking to entertain fighters and the crowd. And I'm like, bro, you could have beaten Fundora had you just fucking, after you got him knocked down, don't turn him. Don't just stay in front of him and allow him to unleash a bunch of uppercuts on you, right? And that's what I mean by dumb fighters. It's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that fight against Sebastian, he knocked him down, and I think he could have put him away, man. You see Brian Mendoza's knockout. It wasn't similar, but I mean, you've seen Brian Mendoza kind of approach the when shit hits the fan for Fundora. You had one guy in Lubin who was just swinging all crazy, and then you had Brian Mendoza really calculating his punches, and and he's actually the one that pulled away with the knockout. I think Lubin could have done something similar to that if he had not like wasn't scrambling for fucking for a knockout. He wasn't thinking straight or something, man. So he's just a dumb. Yeah, I guess I would say he is somewhat of a dumb fighter, I guess, because
So
he
like for
beat people. He beat someone like Terrell Gaucher, right?
yeah, right.
And Terrell Gaucher is a legit fighter, bro. Like he's an Olympian. Terrell Gaucher knocked down. I mean, what's his name? Tim Tszyu.
Yeah, he
So I
dropped
feel
him.
like he belongs in the elites. It's just that he's just gonna the older he gets, he's gonna just be more of a what am I trying? What's the word I'm looking for? More of a gatekeeper, So I
So
mean,
like
yeah,
so
but
this is why excuse me, I don't know why my voice is doing that. This is why I think Erickson Lubin could upset Jesus Ramos, right? Because
I can see it.
he's fought Luis Cuba Arias. I like Luis Cuba, right? I don't think he's all that great of a boxer or a fighter, but he's crafty. I guess that's what you can call it. He doesn't really have amazing hand speed or can really punch all that crazy, but he's a crafty little veteran that could give fighters like Jarrett Hurd a good little run for his money. Then he fought Sebastian Fundora, and even though that fight was stopped and he had looking like Hellboy with a bunch of hematomas on his forehead, like he gave a great account of himself, right? He also knocked out Jason Rosario. To your point, he also fought Terrell Gasia. And then he also fought Nathaniel Gallimore. I like Nathaniel Gallimore. I think he's from Chicago.
He just lost, I think.
Yeah, he's not all that great of a fighter, but he's like gritty. He's tough and nasty. And then again, got knocked down in the first round by Jermell Charlo. So the reason I bring up Erickson Lubin and why I think he can upset Jesus Ramos, because Jesus Ramos I don't really know who he's fought in, bro. And I know he's beaten Brian Mendoza, right?
Joey
And
Spencer.
I don't know if that Brian Mendoza, I don't know when Brian Mendoza, or he's always been, I don't know if he's always been trained by Ismael Salas, but I didn't really think highly of Brian Mendoza, even in the Sebastian Fundora fight. I was the odds were at plus 850 for Brian Mendoza, by the way. And I wanted to put money on Brian Mendoza just because I don't think highly of Tarantula. You know what I mean? Sebastian Fundora. I just thought Sebastian Fundora is kind of like a freak of nature, so to speak. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying, like, you're fucking 6'6", fighting at 154. You're essentially like a freak of nature because that's heavyweight structure,
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, one of these dudes could knock him out. And Brian Mendoza was getting battered, bro. Like, he was cut up. He was getting beat by Sebastian Fundora. And then he just lands like that left hook that hits him right in his chin. Fundora's throwing or about to throw an uppercut, boom, and he throws a short left hook, catches him right in the chin, and then kind of stuns Fundora, and then he goes boom, throws I think a 4 or maybe a 6 over the top, and just puts him down. And fucking Fundora's back of the head whiplashes off the canvas, and he's fucking stupefied and stunned, and he can't get back up. But I don't really think highly of Brian Mendoza. You know what I'm saying? I guess I will think highly more if he gets a greater account of himself against Tim Tszyu. But I expect Tim Tszyu to fuck him up like within 7 rounds.
I think he's better than Joey Spencer, like someone like a Joey Spencer.
You think Brian Mendoza is better than Joey?
Yeah.
I will say this, and we go to that point, right? Joey Spencer. I don't think highly of Joey Spencer up until any of the fights. When I saw him before the Jesus Ramos fight, he fought this cat, right? Kevin Zambrano. Kevin Zambrano was the same guy that just fought Elijah Garcia. And Elijah Garcia, like Joey Spencer, they fucking looked, bro, boring. Like in that Joey Spencer fight, I think the whole fight, people were booing them to engage, and none of them, Joey Spencer nor Kevin Zambrano, wanted to fight. Zambrano was outboxing Elijah Garcia. I thought he beat Elijah Garcia, but they gave it to him. I was like, wow, that's a fucking robbery. But again, Kevin is kind of like a Miguel Vasquez, where they kind of like suck out the air and diffuse a fight and de-escalate moments. And that's why I don't think Elijah Garcia will beat Armando Resendez, because I was just like, damn, bro, like, you're very rudimentary. You don't really know how to cut off the ring. You don't really feint. You just throw a 1-2, all the same. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. But anyway, man, I would say Jesus Ramos is the favorite, because I know he's only like 20 or 22 years of age, but he's wise beyond his years. Hey, yo, what's going on, Speed? What you think, man? Let's do a little quick mic check.
The homie Ricky.
Yo.
Good even fall to one and all. Drew, good day to you. Mr. Adam Hurley. And I hope Mr. Vince Vargas is here. Haven't seen him in the chat, but he's always a loyal listener. And I hope he and everybody who is listening, who's just shy to not comment, I hope they are doing well. As far as the topics of the day, well, man, I really do apologize, guys. I took a mountain bike ride up the Fort Ord Hills, and I almost killed myself. I almost slammed my head across a massive tree branch. But luckily, I have those cat-like reflexes, and I was able to just avoid it by a few inches. But I did sort of injure my ribs on my right side because of the maneuver that I took. It really threw me off balance. And long story short, it was a hell of a ride in the darkness, and I wouldn't give it up for anything besides being here on the timely fashion, which I am not. So I don't know what I missed, but I'm sure it was good.
Well, I don't know, man. I was just kind of just shooting off the tongue in the beginning. So I'm gonna put it to you guys like this. Just to give you guys a little recap, just because you guys are kind of joining in, and I don't really want to repeat myself all the way, but I think Jermell is probably the second biggest puncher that Canelo Alvarez has faced. You know, apart from Triple G.
I haven't talked about this yet. You didn't tell me about this yet.
Oh, yeah. I think I went on for like 20 minutes before you guys started to hop on. I think Jermell is the second biggest puncher that Canelo has faced, right? Triple G would be number one. But if we were to compare up when they fought one another, Triple G's biggest fights up to the Canelo fight, remember, because they were all very reluctant to fight Triple G or give him the opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. But the biggest fighters that he had fought up until that point had been, if I'm not mistaken, David Lemieux and Curtis Stevens, right? Mm-hmm. Triple G, that's who he had knocked out going into the Canelo fight. And then I think he also fought Danny Jacobs. So and he didn't really sleep Danny. He dropped Danny on a flash knockdown, I think in the second or the fourth round. Danny got up immediately and the fight went the distance, and it was a really good fight, good back and forth. And then Canelo, found his boss, and he was like, I can give Triple G a good fight.
Curtis Stevens.
Right, but that's pretty much it, right? Curtis Stevens and David Lemieux were essentially the two biggest punches.
Willie Monroe. Anyways, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Like Willie Monroe, right? You're gonna give me Steve Rolls, you're gonna give me
Rosado,
Daniel Gale, and all these other little fighters that were obscure. Like, that's not Triple G's fault, because guys like Sergio Maravilla didn't give him the fight. Miguel Cotto didn't give him the fight. Billy Joe Saunders, who was a WBO champion at the time, didn't give him the fight. So he didn't get those big fights. But again, when you can't get those big fights, there's a fighter like Kell Brook that's willing to move up and then fight you. You can also move up at 168 and fight Carl Froch and Arthur Abraham and Sakio Bika and Edwin Rodriguez. You can fight those guys. But anyway, Triple G stayed where he stayed. And up before the Canelo fight, he really fought any amazing fighters. And up to that point, he maybe 2-3 punches, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, where Jermell actually has a whole shit ton of momentum.
He does.
While I don't really think, like at 154, he didn't fight Jarrett Hurd. He didn't fight Julian J. Rock Williams. He hasn't fought Tim Tszyu. He hasn't fought Sebastian. Let's just say Sebastian Fundora. He didn't fight Erislandy Lara or Prime Canelo at 154. He didn't fight those fighters. He still fought other champions, right? He knocked out Jason Rosario. Rosario, he's a quitter. He's got quit in him, but you have to bring that quit out of him, right? So you got to land a hard ass punch. But he's heavy-handed, more or less. Let's see, Brian Castano. I look at Brian Castano as a poor man's Canelo Alvarez, a fighter that fights a lot similar to Canelo, but doesn't have Canelo's pop, experience, punch tolerance, and just but in terms of how they go about fighting with a high guard and kind of slipping punches and throwing, body and head with left hooks and uppercuts. Castaño is a poor man's version of Canelo, right?
Yeah, no, I was
People say that Jermell is Canelo's biggest puncher that he's faced, just not at 168. You know what I mean?
yeah, no,
What do you guys think?
I was looking at I was looking at his fucking resume. I'm thinking Miguel Cotto, but I'm a little torn because he wasn't in his prime when he fought Canelo, you know. So I did tell you Cotto was the second biggest puncher since Triple G, but I wasn't in his prime. Like he was kind of way off. I did mention that he was on a 3 knockout streak, and yeah, like they were just all on his way up. They weren't like top tier fighters in his division, you know. So I'm gonna have to backtrack on that. I'm gonna have to say it is fucking Jermell, dude.
Yeah, correct. Cotto, he had knocked out, obviously Sergio Maravilla, and that's where he got the WBC belt, the middleweight belt. He knocked out Delvin Rodriguez, a Puerto Rican, I think based out of New York, and then he knocked out Daniel Gale or something like that, European fighter. And those were essentially the 3 fighters that he fought after losing to Austin Trout, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I think it was Austin Trout that he had lost to, and then he had a 3-fight win streak, all by KOs. To your point,
and it was before that was Floyd.
After losing to Floyd,
it was Floyd, and then it was Trout, both by unanimous decision. But he had lost by TKO in 2009 by Pacquiao in the 12th.
Margarito.
And then by Pacquiao in the 12th round, and then Margarito in the 11th, but he avenged it. So Manny Pacquiao is really the only asterisk in the 12th round on top of that.
Adam Hurley says, I know Canelo fought Triple G, but do you guys think he mostly avoids knockout artists? And I would say yes. Like, he chose to fight Bivol when he only has 1 belt, which makes no fucking sense. But you could have fought Beterbiev, who had 3. You see what I'm saying? You've already been a champion at 175. You knocked out Kovalev.
What about him though?
Say again?
What about Kovalev though?
Yeah. I would say this. All right. Kovalev is a big ass puncher. He pretty much knocks out everybody. At the time, I don't know, he probably had like 35 wins and 30 knockouts and like 1 and 2 draws to Andre Ward. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they kind of did Kovalev dirty by giving him like a short fight notice to get that fight. And Kovalev basically had a fat camp, meaning he wasn't really focused on a game plan or strategy. It was just all about cutting weight. And he basically sold his booty for a Canelo paycheck. Mm-hmm. And even then, all he threw was just jabs. And I thought he was beating Canelo up until the knockout. Canelo didn't really look great in that fight. He looked very heavy. He looked very slow. Mm-hmm. And then he lands like he throws a 3, kind of hurts Kovalev, wobbles him, and then he throws that 2, boom, and just fucking folds him. Beautiful knockout. Mm-hmm. But I would say like he has avoided big punchers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even at 168, he fought John Ryder, but he's not a big puncher. You could have fought David Benavidez, who by most people would regard as a big puncher. Not so much by a single blow, but accumulation of punishment. What you think about that assessment or that question, Speed? You think Canelo mostly avoids knockout artists or nah?
Who do you think is the second biggest knockout artist too? Oh wait, did you answer that already?
Yeah, earlier when I was going solo, I said the biggest punches that Canelo had faced, apart from Triple G, because I'm gonna acknowledge him to be the best puncher that Canelo has faced. I would say probably like James Kirkland and Perro Angulo. You can add Danny Jacobs. You can add, Miguel Cotto and Kovalev. But I feel like the context of those situations really mattered. Like, Danny Jacobs, he has power. He has speed. But I would say James Kirkland is a fucking big puncher. If you look at that fight when he fought Canelo, even after 2 years of being absent from the ring, he basically gave a performance of Hitman Hearns versus Marvin Hagler. They just fucking straight fought for 3 rounds and boom, just straight gunshots, shotgun bullets, and fucking rounds were just exploded in the ring. Miguel Cotto, I would consider him a big puncher as well, but not at middleweight, even though he had a 3 knockout streak. Most fighters are tune-ups. And even the context of Maravilla, again, ACL injury and surgery, inactive for over 2 years, 41, 38, 39 years of age. And he looked like a shot fighter the minute, his legs were gone by a check left hook that Cotto landed in like the first round. I think he dropped him 3-4 times in the first round and then just carried him,
Yeah, no, I agree. Speed, what do you think about that question, man?
No, I don't think that's necessarily a bad answer to the question that is being proposed. I mean, I think the arguments that you made, that both of you gentlemen made, I think the homie offered it first. He offered that response that Jermell Ironman Charlo is likely the toughest and most powerful knockout artist that Canelo has faced in years. I mean, we really have to harken back quite a few years to, let's say, even Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather, guys, regardless, he was a knockout artist, just not in the in the higher weight classes, but for the most part, that man was incredible. But yeah, I think Jermell Charlo is definitely, especially at this point in Canelo's career, the way that he's been dominating the opponents that he has and becoming triumphant. I would say yes, he has. Charlo is going to be the most powerful knockout artist that Canelo has faced, and probably one of his toughest to date. Look, I'm very I'm divided in a couple of the things that you guys said, though. Mr. Adam Hurley proposes a very good question that we really have to ask ourselves, which is, does Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan, does he try to avoid knockout punches, punches with concussive power? Now, the homie Ricky answered that, and I think Drew agreed that Kovalev was, one of the toughest tests, right? Kovalev was a knockout artist too. And the homie Ricky said, oh, well, actually you did, right? Homie Ricky, you said if he wanted to, he could have asked to fight Arthur Beterbiev instead of Dmitry Bivol. Now, this is where I disagree with that assessment, right? With that answer right there, which is that I am a complete foe of the type of fights that you don't acclimate yourself for, right? As a boxing fan, I want the most competitive person across the ring. Two of them. I want both of them to be as competitive as they can, right? I don't want there to be any kind of arguments later on after a fight. Oh, this guy was weight trained. This guy was not in his prime, so forth and so on. So whatever has to be made so fighters are in tip-top shape, that's what I prefer in a fight. Now, I have my gripes about this Jermell Charlo versus Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan fight, because you cannot skip two divisions without acclimating yourself and face one of the shoe-in Hall of Famers boxing history. I can't think of any fighter at the current moment besides Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan that be a shoe-in to the Hall of Fame. I don't think there's any question. Right?
Yo, Speed,
So-
I'm not too sure if it's on my end or your end.
It's bad too.
Kind of cutting out.
Yeah, it's pretty bad too on my end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Speed, I think,
Okay. Yeah, no, it's I'm driving through these very crazy dead areas of
good
mobile
right now.
connectivity.
Oh,
I'm good right now?
Yeah.
yeah, you're good right now.
Okay. Oh, okay. So sorry about that. So what I try to say is that I disagree with this fight in the sense that Jermell Charlo cannot be as competitive as he could have been had he acclimated himself with a couple of fights at 160 and maybe 168, right? So I have an issue with that. Now that applies the same thing for Canelo. Canelo has to pick the weakest fighter in a higher weight class because he has to acclimate himself. We cannot expect him to go and face better BF. I mean, when nobody wants to face better BF, right? Like I'm sure Bieber wants to, right? But
I don't know. I don't know.
well, yeah, I mean, okay. I think he can concede a couple of things more if he really wants that fight to happen. I don't know if Bob Baron wants that fight to happen either, so I don't know who's to blame right there. But I will say this: if a fighter wants to fight another fighter, he'll fight him. If a fighter does not want to fight another fighter, he won't fight him. Case in point, Frank Martin didn't want to fight Shakur Stevens.
Oh wait, my bad. I zoned out. Weren't you just talking about the? You just did you switch the subject, or were you been talking about this?
No,
Yeah, no.
He has this habit.
It's not a habit. It's not a habit. All I'm trying to do is, propose that if a fighter wants to fight another fighter, it'll happen.
Oh, okay.
So Better BF doesn't want to. Bivol doesn't want to fight Better BF. Better BF doesn't want to fight Bivol. But Canelo had to fight Kovalev first because Kovalev was getting, little shop worn. He had I think he had a very quick fight. The fight prior, so maybe he only had like a 6-week training camp to face Canelo. And of course, Canelo being the smaller guy, he faces a way bigger guy who hits way harder, and he's going to be dominated. He's going to be dominated because the guy has physical advantages of power and reach and height that are just going to play against the favor of Canelo. But what I'm saying is this: if Canelo wants to make a run one day at 175, which I completely disagree with because we already saw him try against one of the better fighters at 175, and you can argue who's better BF or Bivol, but he didn't look so good against Kovalev. He definitely didn't look good against Bivol. So guess what? He should never go up there, or if he's gonna go up there, he cannot face a champion right off the bat. He has to build up to it. So all I'm saying is this: look, I don't think he's necessarily ducking knockout punchers. I'm just saying that in the case that you presented, the homie Ricky, we cannot expect him to fight Better BF because you have to acclimate him, yourself for a fighter that caliber.
I'm gonna say this. To give you a little bit of context on when he fought Kovalev. Kovalev had just came off beating Anthony Yard, right? He knocked him out with a jab. I don't know, the 7th, 10th round. I'm not too sure, right? Anthony Yard kind of like gassed out, and then Kovalev dropped him with a jab. That was in 2019. Let's just say it was in July, right? In less than essentially fucking 2 months, bro. Right? He fights Canelo Alvarez. Actually, scratch that. It was Anthony Yard. He fought Anthony Yard on August 2019, right? And then on November, which is 3 months, and it was late August. Basically, it's September. It was August the 24th. And then on November the 2nd, which is less than 3 months of preparation, after coming off a fight, fatigue, trying to rehydrate, eating back up, he has to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, that's really unheard of. You don't really see fighters fight and do less than a 3-month turnaround. It's always a minimum of 4 months, or even 5 or 6. Most fighters in this modern day era fight twice a year, if we're lucky. Canelo, to that token, had just beaten Danny Jacobs, right? He had just beaten Danny Jacobs, and then he basically moves up, skips the whole 168, unless he fought Danny Jacobs at 168, but I'm pretty sure he unified with him at 160, and then he jumped all the way to 175 to fight Kovalev, right? Kovalev said a couple of excuses, like, it was such a short camp, turnaround. He had to wait 1 hour in the dressing room because there was a UFC event, and he was already kind of fatigued and gassed, and Canelo calls him a bad loser. He's a fucking sore loser, So there was a whole lot of things of the terms. I don't know if you guys remember the contract, but Kathy Duva made him sign like $0 guaranteed on his contract. There was a bunch of shady shit that was going on Sergey Kovalev's basically slave contract. I don't know what the fuck he signed up for, but that was a context, right? But I'm going to go back and reinforce and double down on this point that Canelo doesn't really face big punchers. At 154, the biggest puncher at that time, I would say, would be Jarrett Hurd and Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo was the dude at 154 between the two twins, right? Between twins.
I don't
Jermell
think he was
was
afraid of both of those guys.
Y'all give me a second. I'm gonna take this call. Y'all do your thing. Y'all hold it down.
All right, man. So he mentioned two guys. That I had already forgot. He mentioned
Jared Hurd.
yeah, Jerry Hurd and Jermall. So
Yeah.
I think both those guys Canelo smokes. Like I don't think he was really afraid of any of those guys. But he's going back in time. I guess so. He's referring back to a time when both those guys were dominant at 154. But I don't think those guys were a hassle, man. I think the word on the street was Triple G was his next biggest threat. It was really all about the X's and O's. It wasn't really about the resume. It was really about how good they do in the ring. That's what Canelo goes for. He goes for that, and obviously the undefeated record as his opponent. But he was looking at Bivol like, yeah, this is the best 175 pounder in the division, and he did. I don't know what happened between that and Beaterby, but what's it called? He fought Bivol instead, and because I think Bivol is actually like the bigger puncher out of him and Bivol, but he chose the better boxer, obviously, and yeah, man, he goes for the best guys that perform well. There's a reason why he called Boo Boo a horrible fighter. He does because he does these fucking man. I saw this video today. It said his name should be Boo Boo Wilder because he throws these wild hooks sometimes, and
Oh goodness.
he is pretty clean. Like his technique is it's correct, but he's just not consistent enough. I mean, yeah, it seems like he has a lot of mileage on him, the way he talks and all that, but yeah, man. Anyways, I kind of started off. Canelo's not afraid of any of those guys. He was not afraid of nobody at 154. It was Triple G that he was looking at. That he was really looking at as a threat. Yeah, Triple G is gonna be a Hall of Famer too, man. He's like one of the biggest punchers in the division, in middleweight division history. So you put him back in any time in any era, he gives them all trouble. So yeah, I think yeah. Go ahead, Speed.
Yeah, so no, and all of that is correct. In fact, I don't know about Jared Hurd, right? I mean, Jared Hurd was proven to be a very tough, hard-hitting 154 pounder, but right after Canelo moved past 154, right? Because when Canelo was doing anything at 154 and doing 160, Jared Hurd really wasn't making much noise. I mean, what is the biggest things that Jared Hurd was known for? Eventually, towards the latter years of, most recently, actually, not even that long ago, what, maybe 3 years, maybe four, he, Lara?
Yeah, he beat Lara, yeah.
And he was in a hell of a fight with, but he ended up losing to, J-Rock.
Yeah, lost to J-Rock. That was an upset.
Yeah. Yeah, so there really wasn't much noise being made by Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd just came back, and I remember really having knowing that he had some momentum behind him when he ended up stopping Erislandy Lara. Because come on now, like, I mean, oh wait, he didn't stop him, right? Did he stop him?
Who did?
On the last, Jared Hurd on the last round? No. It was a very close fight. Erislandy Lara was winning about half of the fight. But little by little, with every round, Jared Hurd's power was getting through.
It was a split decision.
And and the knockdown was the thing that gave it to it ended up turning it in the favor of Jared Hurd. So, that was an incredible fight, by the way.
A cut in the left eye, and Lara was down.
Yeah, and that's so Canelo's not ducking anybody like that. But we do have to admit, there is Benavidez, who, for whatever reason or another, He hasn't fought yet. Now, I do think he's gonna fight him in that 3-fight contract.
Mhm.
It's just like you mentioned. Canelo likes to take on fighters that have a little momentum, and most importantly, that are accomplished, that are brave to venture out of their comfort zone, take on some
Mhm.
tough fights, and get accomplished. Right? And
Yeah.
look, for better or for worse, Jermell Ironman Charlo is accomplished and he has momentum. He crosses out all of these check marks that Canelo is into. Now, I don't think that was Canelo's preferred fight, right? Because
Yeah. No.
he has to know. He's like, come on, guys, this guy's a little guy, but this is what Mr. Al Heyman wants me to fight. This guy right here. What do you want me to do about it? He's paying me a lot of money. Let's give him credit. The guy's been calling me out for a long time. He's an undisputed fighter. He has cleared out everybody in this division except for one man, which is Tim Sue. But otherwise, there's, I mean, if if he was one weight class below Canelo, it'd be a better fight for me. But he's 2 weight classes below him, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know how I feel about this. And I'm very divided because you know me, I'm a big fan of the underdog. So in that sense, I would like Jermell Charlo to beat Canelo. Here's the thing, though, I hate when people skip the line in the sport and take on fights without any kind of acclamation because I know for a fact that you're not at your optimum preparation for that type of fight, and you're almost selling yourself for money. Now, here's the thing: Jermell Charlo is really trying to be great, but
Yeah.
when I hear other people trying to jump into weight classes to chase that big money, like Mr. Terrence Crawford, I'm like, bro, you want money, and I bet you do want to believe in yourself, but you want money. And you ain't done nothing, and these other weight divisions besides that, and you haven't acclimated yourself, and you want big money because you think beating a toothless,
Hmm.
uh, partially blind Errol Spence should get you Canelo. In what world does that get you Canelo? Whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what's it called. I was gonna say, Canelo really fights dudes if the money makes sense and if the fighter's profile, if like you said, momentum, it has to all make sense. I think nowadays you see a lot of the big money fights that don't make sense, and it's because they're reaching, for the money. Canelo already has money. He doesn't need to reach. He wants it to. At this point, he wants to make his what do they do? How they go to NFL, they go to the Hall of Fame, they create like a bus. Like he's
You
trying
mean
to
like
make
a
that bus,
legacy?
yeah, like a bit like a legacy, like a statue type of thing.
Oh,
He's just looking at that statue. He's just trying to make it look pretty. He's just trying to be remembered the best way possible, at this point, because he's got endorsements, he's got other avenues to make money. I think he's just trying to make the exit look nice. I'm not saying that he's retiring right now. Obviously he's got to finish out that contract before we even start thinking about that. But I do think he fights David Benavidez, just because of what he says, like during his interviews. He's not really saying I'm never gonna fight him. He never said that. He said it could happen, it couldn't, like it we'll see. So I think he's just letting it marinate. I think I don't think there's nothing. This is the thing. There's nothing to be afraid of for Canelo as far
yeah,
as
no.
what David Benavidez puts to the table. Like I don't think it's nothing that we should be too afraid of. It's just something. He's gonna have a fast start. That's what it is. He's gonna lose some rounds. I could see that happening, but it's just that's the thing. Like in my heart, I feel like Canelo really does not feel a threat. He wants the money to make sense, and he wants like people are talking about him, but man, Canelo's really curious about David's pay stub,
I
because
think I think quite the opposite, bro. I think Canelo feels a threat, and I feel like he
really,
doesn't want to give another Mexican a shot. He hasn't given Jaime Munguia a shot. Surdo Ramirez, let's say, and David Benavidez. Like it reminds me of Floyd never wanting to fight a black boxer, a black fighter, really, right? I guess he never wanted another fighter to take his spotlight, right? And going back to David, I don't know why he doesn't want to fight David, but I feel like when it comes down to situations, like he's always said, look, guys, don't ever disrespect myself. He fight with nobody, with one fighter, Darrell, and that's it. So he don't respect David. That's really what it is. I know Canelo ain't afraid of him, but he's moving like a fighter that doesn't want to fight his mandatory, right? That kind of will hide behind the politics to do so. Kind of like Adam Hurley said. I don't know why he doesn't want to fight David, but he wanted to move up all the way to fight Badu Jack. Bro, so like, I'm not going to say Canelo is ducking, but this reinforces the notion, again, going double down before I was rudely interrupted by a phone call. At 154, he didn't fight the biggest punchers. He fought great fighters. Floyd, Trout, Erislandy Lara, very tough fighters in terms of stylistic matchups, right? James Kirkland, Perro Angulo. But the guys that people wanted to see him fight was Jermell Charlo and Jarrett Hurd, right? Jarrett Hurd would be like a David Benavidez, a guy that throws a bunch of punches that's going to bring it and come to war. Jermell Charlo was the dude before all these things happened in his life when he moved up to 160. But he's the only fighter that ever dominated Sergey Derenchenko, where the fight more or less wasn't close. Jermell was that guy. And Canelo didn't want to fight Jermell. That was the biggest puncher at 154 at that time. And it was evident by how he knocked Julian J. Rock Williams. He was big, he looked big, and he fought to his size. At 160, eventually he did fight Triple G, but it took him a while to fight Triple G. And in fact, he needed to see Triple G fight somebody of value, Danny Jacobs, before he went on himself to fight him, right? So he avoided Triple G, right? And then at 168, now you can say he's avoiding David Benavidez. And to that point at 175, after knocking out Kovalev and then going back down and having an amazing run and beating all these undefeated fighters and breaking their arms and orbital bones and knocking them out to become undisputed, and instead of fighting Bivol, he should have fought in Beterbiev and try to collect the other 3 belts. But he knew, man, that's a big ass dude. That's a big ass hitter. That fucker is strong as hell. Stronger than Bivol, even though Bivol was taller and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm going to say that he's always avoided big punchers. But just because he's avoided certain punchers and fighters doesn't mean that, his resume sucks. No, absolutely, bro. I mean, this dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's amazing.
Hey, Warp Speed. So you just said something right now on the comments right now. Can you elaborate on that? I don't know. There's a lot of long words in that chat.
I guess let's see. It just seemed like everyone was calling for Canelo to fight David Benavidez, and then he tried to fight Badu Jack. I didn't understand that. Yeah. Even Badu Jack told him to go fight Benavidez after he tried to impose a catch weight on him. Drew says Badu Jack wanted cool points instead of life-changing money. Shaking my head. Yeah, he did. Badu Jack should have accepted that because then he gets paid like $10 million for his, after beating Makabu or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I don't know why he'd be like, bro, what the fuck? But it was
just retired.
I'm not gonna fight because I'm not gonna lose this 12 pounds at the age of fucking 40.
Yeah.
And me try to catch it. Go fight David Benavidez. What the fuck are you doing trying to fight me? I actually like Badu Jack's response to that. Speedy goes, yeah, that is an unreasonable offering that provides intrigue only due to the novelty and perception of danger. But it does nothing to advance the sport and ranking. Agreed. It just allows Canelo to be like a 5th-time divisional champion in the 7th class.
There you go.
1, 2, 3. Gotta respect Jack for not selling out, but dumb to walk away from that money. Yup, I agree. Both statements could be true. Especially at
most of the time, both statements are always true.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I just think that's what it comes down to when it comes down to Canelo, at least how he goes. Look, Canelo at this age of over 60, close to 70 fights, he can fight anybody that he wants. I'm a fan of the dude. I'm gonna watch every single fight. This fight with Jermell Charlo brings a lot of intrigue. You know, the only thing again that I've mentioned in the past is just I don't know how Jermell's timing is gonna be. I'm not worried about the weight. I think in fact Jermell is gonna look good in the weight. I don't really worry about him taking Canelo's power because at the end of the day you're gonna get hit. So you can take it well or you cannot. It doesn't matter. Canelo still hit just as hard at 154, at 160 as he does at 168. So it's just a little much more force, force times mass and acceleration. That's the equation of force, a little physics equation out there for you guys. So Canelo obviously is going to hit a little harder with added weight. But at the same time, whether it was at 150, at 160, or 168, Jermell is going to be receptive to getting hit regardless. It's just the timing of how Jermell is going to implement his game plan after being a year layoff. Again, there are ways to circumvent inactivity. It all based on your preparation and your sparring. Some fighters I know take off their headgear and they spar, and they allow their sparring partners to fight with headgear and smaller gloves. And, Jermell can spar with no headgear just to get his timing right and not be afraid of punches against bigger guys. So there's a way to go about it after a very long layoff. But again, a long layoff, I don't know how that's going to affect your timing. Hand surgery, you say you're okay, but in the video, All Access, I see you go to a massage parlor and he's putting a lot of pressure and vibration on your knuckles, and you're like, I'm grimacing. So I'm like, are you really that healthy? Because soft tissue nerve damage, when your hand gets inflamed, I've had it to my left hand, and it fucking hurts.
Can I add something?
So it fucking hurts.
He's also putting padding on his ribs.
Say again? Oh, yeah, adding padding. Yeah, he can put on, some quarterback NFL padding on his ribs to take body shots. Wait, is that what you meant? Drew, is that what you meant?
Yeah, that's what I meant. My bad. Something fell right now. Sorry.
No, yeah. So there's a lot of ways to go about conditioning your body for the big impact, especially of a hard hitter. Look, I don't think right now there's a big of a puncher of Canelo Alvarez within that weight class. When I look at 154, there's no puncher that hits like Canelo. When I look at middleweights, same thing. I don't see a fighter that hits as hard as Canelo. Not Johnny Beck and not the other guy, William or Carlos Adames, right? And at 168, there's the French fighter, Milibu or whatever his name is.
Makabu. Oh, wait, no.
No, it's Milibi or some shit. I don't know.
Billy?
And Billy, yeah.
Christian
he looks like he'd be a very hard hitter. He looks to be very big, and he's actually Canelo Alvarez's
possibly on roids.
So maybe, I think so. But, even within this weight class, I think the only one that could just hit as hard, if not harder than Canelo, is Beterbiev and maybe Joe Smith Jr. Aside from that, Canelo's the biggest puncher out of them all. So there's no one that Jermell can really prepare himself for that Canelo pop, speed, and size. So that's going to come down to fight night, and he's going to have to figure that out if, oh man, I can take that shot, or maybe I fucking can't. And that's going to make him, tailor his game plan and alter the way he moves, whether he has to box more or fucking press forward and walk down Canelo. That's going to be an in-fight adjustment regardless, and being honest with himself and honest with Coach Derek James and tell him, hey, bro, this is what I got to do because this fucker hits way too hard. So that's just fight night preparation and making, in-game adjustments. So, but that being said, yeah, man, I think we kind of covered everything. I just kind of want to run down a few Bovada bets with you, Drew.
Yep.
What has the Boxing Voice and Ness? Have they spilled out any secrets or not just yet? Because I know they do it like on Friday that you always kind of
So the last fight, last week's fights.
No, like this week. Forget last week.
No, you're right. Friday. I have to wait till Friday.
Oh, you have to wait till Friday? Okay, they haven't interviewed anybody or said anything where you're like, I've been seeing Ramos spar. He's looking amazing. He's gonna knock out Lubin. They haven't like set out a secret.
Yeah, they actually interviewed a chick that's fighting this weekend. I had to pull her up right now, and she's fighting. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Who is she? Speed. Do you remember who that lady was this morning getting interviewed? She was in the TBV podcast this morning. She's fighting this weekend. But
Yeah, I try to recognize the face. I looked at her. I wasn't able to. Her face just didn't resonate. But you know, I'm notorious for having a very bad memory. I actually was turned off by that episode today because the topic was they were gonna talk about Frank Martin's excuse for why he chose not to fight Shakur Stevens. And then
Mhm.
5 minutes in, they bring this lady in there. I actually thought that she had something to say about the whole fiasco, but
That's
when
how it
she
is,
started
though.
talking, huh?
That's how it is, though. Like they have appointments and they just randomly like hop on, and then
Oh,
they talk about their fights. Usually they talk about their upcoming fights during the week, but they call in when they have time. Like the podcasters work around their schedule, you know. So that's the way
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Well, they actually pay for it. Like that lady did not just hop on the live to
Yeah,
be interviewed for a
yeah.
whole hour for the fuck of it. Like she was there being paid for it. And I forget, I think it's like $120 what they charge per hour, depending on how how
Yeah,
busy
okay.
you are. But yeah,
I
they
got her
pay,
name.
they invest money.
I got her name. Her name's Jasmine Artiga.
Never heard of
She
her.
so she just started like at a late. Most of these girls are fighting like at a really late age, because the women's boxing market is like booming. You know,
Yup.
so actually no, she just won. She just won. And she fought on the Richardson Hitchens card. So I'm wrong. Um,
I've told the homie Ricky, that he should pick up a couple of female fighters and
it's
train them
hard.
because the future of boxing and the growth of the sport is in the female side of it. The men's already been cemented. There really is no growth. In fact, over the past few generations, the superstar really has faded out into obscurity. In fact, some people have even pondered the question on whether or not Canelo and Anthony Joshua, and I guess to some extent um, Tyson Fury, are the last superstars, mega fighters in the sport. And after that, they can't really imagine anybody else taking up the role of the megastar. But women is a whole different story. Women
It's hard.
provide, yeah, exponential growth. If you invest in a good fighter, the hype behind women is really picking up. They're starting to take on 3 minute round 3 minute rounds, so that's going to lead to more violence, more knockouts. It's perfect time to invest in women's fighters.
telling me to
It's
buy
cool seeing
stock
that.
in women fighters, huh?
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool seeing these chicks come up. I do. I mean, I do like obviously the women who perform at their peak. And I heard a lot of things about people like Jessica McCaskill, and I remember watching her like last year, I think, and I was like, man, like she kind of like no respect, but like she's not who people say she is. Like I know she's older and all that, but man, it's hard watching the women's fights because they're not as consistent, and you can blame like the promoters not giving them enough opportunity. They probably have like jobs and stuff like that. So yeah, I like seeing people like there's very few women fighters that I like to see, but I like to see the people like Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, you know.
Hmm.
And I don't like I hate to be that person, be like, oh, she's pretty and all that, like because there's chicks that don't box who are pretty, so it's like I like to see the best performer out there, and I think it's right now it's pretty much to me Amanda Serrano. I think Amanda Serrano's like top tier, like right
Yeah,
now.
she's number 1 for me, bro.
Yeah, she's number one for me because personally, she will fuck me up, dude. Like she'll fuck me up. Like honestly,
I don't know about
if
that,
I
bro. I mean, she's also still weighs like 125 pounds, bro.
I know, but it's her speed that's intimidating, bro. That's why I'm like, she's older too. So yeah, no, she fucked me up, bro. No, I think
I
Katie
don't think so.
Taylor.
I don't
What
think so.
about Katie Taylor?
Yeah, Katie Taylor, she might beat you up though.
Yeah, she'll probably beat me up,
She's
but
kind of like half man, half beast. She's like, it's not like this.
yeah.
She talks.
Oh yeah.
No, but no disrespect to Katie. Katie's really good. Look, man, I want to address this dude real quick, Mr. Ultra Instinct, bro. William Zabeta kills Devin Haney. I put $1,000 on Cash App. You guys don't got the balls for it. I'll do you one better. I'll put $1,000 that I'll kick your ass in sparring. I guarantee you don't have the balls for it because Zapata is never fighting Devin Haney, bro. That fight, it's not going to happen. Mexican boxing number one. I agree, Instinct. These guys call themselves Mexican, pero they sound güeros, bro. Saying Haney beats everybody when he clearly robbed Loma. Haney beats everybody, but when he clearly robbed Loma. Okay. Vince, just chilling after a good night of the NFL. Who was playing? Yeah, he got the Rams, Bengals, Eagles, and the Bucks. Yeah, there was 2 Monday Night Football games. I don't know if there's like a real schedule going on with the NFL, but they're having 2 fights now. It's very interesting. I mean, not 2 fights, 2 football games in Monday. I don't know. I kind of like just having one. Having 2 gives me this undivided attention to which game to focus on. Look, man, the Rams are the real deal. I thought that they were going to go through like.
No, they're not.
You don't think so? I think so. I'm gonna tell you why. I felt like they were going to go through.
They just lost.
Phase. I know they just lost, but dude, once they get Cooper Kupp back, and with that guy, the Hawaiian receiver, bro, and even Kyron Williams, they're looking fucking dope. As for the Bengals, maybe today they get off their like 2-game losing streak and they finally build the momentum and to be Super Bowl contenders how they were originally supposed to be. As for the Eagles and the Bucks, Eagles just fucking put a stomping on them. And yeah, man, looks like Eagles are going to be winning that division. I don't know what happened to the Dallas Cowboys. I know they lost that cornerback, number 7, Trayvon Diggs, but what does that have to do with the D-line and linebackers, bro? They made James Conner look like a fucking straight beast. Obviously, we're going to find out how good Arizona is because, you know, the Niners play them this weekend. So I'm very excited to see, you know, because I don't know, bro. It's pretty interesting. Obviously, it's a long season of football. There's a whole lot of things. And any given Sunday, anybody can pull the upset. But, yeah, I was very shocked how the Jaguars lost to Houston and Cowboys losing to the Cardinals. I don't know. I'm not going to say that they were trap games because maybe the Cardinals are very good and maybe and Jaguars are maybe not as good as I thought they would be with Calvin Ridley back into the mix. But, yeah, Adam Hurley says, Amanda Serrano is my favorite. Sadacia Green's a serious knockout artist. You know what? I haven't seen too much about her. I've heard great things about her. Yeah, and I know that she was supposed to fight that one white girl that just fought Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall. But Savannah Marshall went to the PFL league to do MMA. So that was a very interesting transition. I don't know if she's looking to fight Clarissa Shields in the PFL. I don't know what kind of contract she signed, but she just became undisputed, beating Frank Sean Cruz. And then all of a sudden, she's like, let me go try MMA. Follow, Clarissa Shields. It was weird. Shadacia Green is amazing, Mr. Hurley. The fight who made me love the female side of pugilism was Cruz versus DeJean. She fought a female named Alejandra Jimenez. Amazing fight. Alejandra Jimenez. Is that the girl that beat Ramla Ali?
No. She's a Mexican. She's a Mexican female fighter. That she was. Look, depending on who you talk to, she was a man transitioning to female or vice versa. She definitely was on some drugs.
Dude, like 4 or 5 of his alternate email accounts. Canelo retires, but they block your comments. No, dude, no one blocks your comments. Yeah, delusional saying heaven beat. It's the same guy. Look at Tyrone, and he puts fucking Emiliano Zapata in the thumbnail. He just puts hilarious, bro. You guys, pendejos, instinct speaking facts, and you guys act like Crips getting emotional. I bet you faggots chose Charlo to beat Canelo. It's the same guy having his ghost accounts, bro, because the viewer count is the same thing. What a weirdo.
This fucking guy, he comes over here and fucking trolls.
Ultra Instinct, what's his Mexican boxing number 1? He's the same guy, bro. Oh my god, dude.
Who's Tyrone?
Hey, Tyrone. Tyrone, we literally have like 5 listeners, bro, and you're not one of them. You know what I'm saying? There's like 5 listeners right now, and they're all the same dude. Hey, guys. Hey, he comes over here to clown and troll on a live that has 5 listeners, and 3 of them are him. Okay, Tyrone. Hey, listen, bro.
Yes.
Hey, Instinct. Why don't you go back into Taekwondo, bro, and start kicking in the air, do them splits, bro? We're talking boxing over here, man.
That's scary, bro.
That's a lot of energy, bro.
Fucking pendejo, bro.
Right now, he logged out to hop on Ultra Instinct, and he's gonna be like, "No, I've been here the whole time, bro."
That's a lot of energy, bro.
Funny, dude. I only heard about things like this, but
Yeah, I know. That's cool. You
I
made it.
was going. No, it's fucking hilarious. That dude.
Oh, you made it.
He's got personality. I'm gonna say this, Drew. Going back into the parlays on Bovado, bro.
Mm.
Do you think? Look, I think Mario Barrios beats Yordenis Ugas by decision, bro. Do you think that?
so?
Do you think that Ugas is shop worn? Do you think that that fight with Spence? You think like Ugas still got anything left in the tank?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. I think he's still a dude to be reckoned with. I think his jab is still great. I think his jab is stronger than Mario Barrios. I think Mario Barrios' style will give what's his name Ugas some problems, but it's nothing like he ain't never seen before. You know, if he can beat Pacquiao, he can beat Mario Barrios. So that's my take. That's my like how I approach that. Like if
Whoa, bro! You're going against the Mexican guy.
yeah, I know, right? Shit.
Hey, let's not get Tyrone mad.
Yeah.
I will say this. Did you guys see the Tomás Delorme fight versus Yordenis Ugas?
Who?
Tomás Delorme. The guy that used to train with Robert Garcia for a little bit, then he kind of flipped around.
Nah, I didn't.
No?
Mm-mm.
Well, there was a couple of fights, bro, that I saw Yordenis Ugas. Because the reason why is because when I do my bets, right, I look at guys that have the same height intangibles as the fighter that he's fighting. So when I look at Barrios, you know, a guy that's like 5'10", 5'11", you know, pretty tall, skinny, lengthy. I look at guys that like, how did Yordenis Ugas do against guys that height, you know? And I don't know, bro. I think he struggles, bro. I know he gave did Ugas fight Danny Garcia? Or did he just fight Sean Porter?
He just fought. No, he didn't. Did he fight Sean Porter? No,
he fought Sean Porter, but I don't know if he fought Danny Garcia or not. I don't think so.
No,
but
not him.
Ugas, bro, I feel like when he fights tall fighters, he struggles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he fights tall fighters, he struggles. When he fights shorter fighters, he's able to impose his size. Because Yordenis Ugas, to your point, he has a very good jab, and he's very left-handed dominant. Like if you look at the portions of his arms, he's got a huge ass left bicep, like big left shoulder, and his right side is kind of a little uncoordinated. He kind of like slaps, right? And when I look at fights that he's had, not so much about his losses, because he had a couple of early losses early on, but you know, just because he doesn't live up to expectation doesn't mean that he can't correct it later down the line. But I don't know if he's that good. And as for Barrios, to be honest with you, I haven't really been too impressed with him. I know that like he gave a good account of himself against Tank Davis, but I didn't really like how he looked against Keith Thurman, bro. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Keith Thurman,
he struggled. I was like, bro.
Not only did he struggle, but he did hurt Keith Thurman to the body.
Yeah, that's him though.
Because Keith Thurman is pretty suspect to the body.
Yeah.
I still liked how he was able to take all those punches that he received. I thought it was, you know, I was like, damn, bro, like, you know, you look big at 147 and you can take the punch from one of the biggest punchers at 147, though Keith Thurman's like 35, 36 at the time. But I did not know that Mario Barrios had a fight in February against Giovanni Santiago. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't. Actually, I seen a highlight on that. Yeah, he was a much smaller guy too. And that was at 147 as well for the WBC Continental. So he got a little strappy strap, you know. But he
gotcha.
It's just that Ugas is a full-fledged 147 pounder, you know. So I don't know, man. The Ugas is just a bigger dude. I mean, he does struggle against like distance fighters, but that's not Mario Barrios's like that's not his style, you know. Like I seen a video of him and Ugas and Shakur sparring, and I seen him getting connected a lot, bro. He's obviously sparring. You know, it's sparring on top of that, but he's sparring like one of the best distance calculators. You know, like in the game. You know, so you seen him getting connected against a guy 2 divisions lower than him. So he does struggle with that, but Mario Barrios doesn't have that jab that Shakur has. So I think he's a little bit stationary, but yeah. I don't think I think Uga doesn't really. I don't think he knocks him out. Maybe he wins a lot of rounds though, unanimously, because he's an Olympian too.
Who's
so
training Mario Barrios? Do you know? Is he with
Bob
like Manny
Santos.
Lopez, or is it his father?
I think it's either Virgil or Bob Santos. One or the other.
Yeah, Virgil.
Did he? Yeah, I think so too. I think he's with Bob Santos.
Let me yeah, that name's been floating around a little more out there. Bob Santos. That's the San Jose cat?
Yeah.
Okay. But what's his name? Fucking Mario Barrios. Versus Manny Santiago. I'm gonna try to watch a little video to see who's in his corner real quick.
Yeah, or you can just like Siri. Yeah, Siri. But
yeah, they don't even have the full fight up on YouTube. They just have like short little clips. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Bob Santos.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know, bro. I think he's gonna beat. Something tells me that Mario is going to beat Yordenis Ugas, bro.
Why do you say that?
It's just I mean, shit. This is a bet. You know what I mean? Like a bet is just like. But one of the things is like. I don't think Ugas has a knockout ability to really keep Mario Barrios like off of him. I think Barrios, like, he's very tough, maybe a little too tough for his own good. Where I'm like, damn, bro, use your boxing ability, you know? But I do like even though Tank put him down, he dropped him 3 times, right? In that fight? Or was it just twice?
Who?
Tank versus Barrios. He dropped Barrios twice. Huh?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, it was like 1 body shot, 1 right hook, and I think he put him down again, or the ref stopped it. But that was still a punishment, and I don't know if I think Barrios will take it, bro. I don't know why, but I like the odds, and I think he'll beat him by decision. The bookies have it pretty close too.
Mm-hmm. And can I'm not sure if I wanted to mention the fight on the same card.
Yeah. Which one?
Resendez versus Elijah Garcia.
Yeah, Resendez, he's gonna beat Garcia, I believe.
Is he favored?
No, Elijah Garcia's favorite, basically minus 500. But
Are you telling me that's free money?
Jose Armando, I think that's free money, bro.
Yeah?
I think so. I mean, look, like I was saying earlier before you guys hopped on, Jose or Armando, he just beat Jarrett Hurd, right? Who was inactive for like 2 years, give or take, and his father just recently had passed away. Mm-hmm. So, and he's still kind of, even though I thought he beat Jarrett Hurd convincingly, he wasn't able to knock him out, and Jarrett Hurd was moving up to middleweight. But I didn't like how Elijah Garcia looked in his last fight against Zambrano.
Mm-hmm.
He looked very rudimentary and like kind of basic. I was like, damn, bro, you know how to cut off the ring? Where's your feints? Where's your other than just a 1-2? And he was getting very sloppy and just he didn't really understand his range. But again, the dude from Arizona is only 20 years old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, he's still got a lot to learn. Whereas Jose Armando, he's also like 24, 25, but he's trained by Manny Robles. And he looked very good and very strong. But there was a fight that Jose Armando had. I don't know who he was up against. But he struggled really bad. And I think it's his only 1 loss. And he fought
Marcos Hernandez?
Yeah, Marcos Hernandez. But that guy's pretty tough, though. Like, he's a mean dude, and that fucking became a war. You know what I mean?
He got knocked out by Anthony Dirrell, though.
He got knocked out by Anthony Dirrell. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, Anthony Dirrell's a big-ass puncher, though, bro. And that just lets you know, like, Marco, because I think Jose moved up to 160. He would fluctuate between 160 and 168. So if he's fighting a guy named Marcos Hernandez, you know, who got knocked out by Anthony Dirrell, I mean, that's a fucking 168 pounder. There's a huge man.
You're right.
So
that was at 165 as well.
Yeah, so I just feel like he's manipulating his weight a lot, and I think he's finally like, all right, I'll settle down at 160 and try to be a champion here, you know? Mm-hmm. But I like how he looked against Jarrett Hurd, but again, I think he should upset Elijah Garcia. I think he might even beat Elijah Garcia by knockout, but if he goes and wins by decision, that's plus $900, bro. So yeah, like going back to some parlays, look, I would think Canelo would probably win by knockout. The bookies are expecting him to go by distance. Canelo by knockout is plus 275. You do a parlay with Jose Armando with decision plus 900. And let's say you want to bank in on Mario Barrios. More than likely, he's not going to knock out Ugas. If he's going to win, he's going to win by decision. That's plus 375. That's plus 17,713 bucks. You put 10 bucks, bro, you're basically winning 1,700.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not bad for 10 bucks on 3 fucking fights. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're feeling a little risky, you know, obviously you would put in 100 and you can have an opportunity to win 17,000. But that is if Canelo were to knock out Jermell. Again, I'm expecting Canelo, kind of like what I said about Ruben Villa. I expect Ruben Villa to put on a show and knock out that Colombian or Venezuelan that he fought. Same thing with Canelo, given the context of a guy who's moving up 2 weight classes, coming off hand surgery, being inactive for over a year. You should be able to knock out Jermell Charlo. Jermell is nowhere as good as Bivol, nowhere as good defensively, as tall, as active, bigger than you. So I'm like, you should be able to knock him out. So I'm banking on that. And if Canelo doesn't knock him out, I need him to like fucking, you know, look dominant and just be like, damn, bro, Coach Derrick James throwing that towel, save your fighter type of stoppage or, you know, performance. If Canelo goes out there and he's struggling and I'm just kind of like, yeah, bro, that's why you ducking David Benavidez. That's just the way I'm going to interpret it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think he's ducking at all, bro. But going back to that, yeah, I forget what was I talking about before this shit, man? We're talking about the undercard.
Yeah, that's those 3 fights. I think that would be a pretty cool little parlay for 10 bucks, bro.
Perfect.
And I think, yeah, to your point, if I'm being completely honest, I like the odds on Erickson Lubin, but I think Jesus Ramos, again, at least the interview that I saw with Un Round Mas with Marco Antonio Barrera and fucking Eric Morales, he just looks wise, bro. Like, he's like, yeah, you know, I've been sparring and learning a lot from my uncle Abel, and he just seems polished, bro. Like, I'm like, damn, this boy, I know he's only 20, 22 years old, but he sounds like a fucking veteran. So I think he'll come through against Lubin, but maybe not. Maybe Lubin upsets the odds. But if you were to put Lubin, you know, just a straight up, you know, win regardless.
Screen record it.
Nah, bro, because this guy Ultra Instinct, he's fucking weird, dog. Can't trust that guy looking over my account. He'd be like, oh, fuck you, este güerito, bro. Tiene mucho dinero. Pinche It was a straight fucking queer, bro.
Guys, listen. I have news. So you know,
don't act impulsively now.
No. Check this out. So Mr. Adam Hurley and I, we were talking about female boxing, right? And he mentioned that Amanda Serrano is his favorite. Now, listen, Amanda Serrano has been in 2 consecutive fight of the year. That includes whether you combine men and women's boxing. She's fought the Mexican, what was her name, Erica Cruz, in a hell of a fight, maybe around April or so. Incredible fight right there, absolutely crazy. I think maybe you know, Erica Cruz should have taken the nod, or it was a draw. I mean, incredible fight. And of course, she had that incredible fight last year with Katie Taylor at the beginning of the year, or maybe that was a little further than that now. Nonetheless, I agree. Amanda Serrano is an incredible fighter of Boricuan blood. Now, Mr. Vince Vargas mentions that the 2 games being played that were played tonight for football were the Rams, Bengals, Eagles, Bucks. I wonder who won right there. But Mr. Hurley had been mentioning, me and him, we were going back about the female boxers, and he mentioned Shadesha Green being a serious knockout artist. Hilarious, very timely news, because right now I'm just reading an SB Nation bad left hook on this report by Mr. Patrick L. Stumberg. He titles the segment, WBC orders Shadesha Green versus Franchon Cruz Discern for vacant super middleweight title. Now, Franchon Cruz Discern is my favorite female fighter because she made me fall in love with the female side of the sport. About 4 or 5 years ago now, she ended up facing a Mexican fighter by the name of Alejandra Jimenez, who's, again, She was either a male transitioning to female, or a female transitioning to male, or maybe she was just a female that was taking pets or whatever. But it was a, when you look at her, you'll know what I'm talking about. So these girls went to war, right? And there was this moment because Shadesha Green, you know, like most black women, they have wigs. They have these weaves. So she has these colored weaves. And I'm not too sure how you hold on to a weave like that, right? But nonetheless, in the heat of the fight, and then the sweat and the blood and everything, the water pouring down their faces, in every quarter of the ring as they're taking their minute break, the weave starts to loosen up. Now, the trainer for Franchon Cruz Cern, if I'm not mistaken, is her own husband, and he's trying to tell her, "Fuck your weave." Just forget it, because the thing is like going all over. It's like, and she's like, just take it off. And she's trying to fix it. And if I'm not mistaken, he gets the weave and pulls it out, and she goes back there partially, bald, to finish off the fight. And I think Alejandra Jimenez won, but then they ended up taking her belt away from her because she ended up testing positive for some they called it performance enhancing products, but I think they were transitioning hormones or something like that. But nonetheless, she is fighting Shadesha Green. Shadesha Green is a very dangerous threat. And if you guys don't know the background between these ladies, one day, about 5 or 6 years ago, when Franchon Cruz Cern was getting some noise behind her, Miss Shadesha Green went to the gym to try and get in some sparring sessions with her, and she asked, after they sparred or whatever, she tried to approach Franchon Cruz Cern, like to thank her for the work or to praise her, and from depending on who you hear it from, Miss Franchon Cruz Cern basically disrespected her, turned her back on her, ignored her, started talking some gossip here and there. So Miss Shadesha Green, always holding her head up high, she recalled that, and she's like, I don't understand why she doesn't like me. But now these girls are apparently mandated to fight each other for the vacant middleweight title fight. And I will say this, you gentlemen do not want to miss it. On other news, of course, we know what happened over the weekend. Richardson Hitchens fought Jose Jones Cepeda in what you could call a snooze fest, right? Richardson Hitchens shuts out Cepeda and puts the 140-pound division on notice. Boxing News 24 reports on a missive by Mr. Vince D. Ryder. Now, when you hop onto the next boxing scene report, guess what the topic of the day is on them? Richardson Hitchens is being interviewed, and he says, quote, I know I gotta be more exciting. So if you guys didn't watch that fight, it was snooze fest, right? The bigger, taller, rangier, younger fighter who was quicker, Richardson Hitchens, he just fought from the outside, just basically threw a one, an occasional two. John Cepeda looked like a bum out there. He couldn't catch up to Richardson Hitchens. He wasn't creative. He never went to the body. What can I say, right? So Richardson Hitchens, right after the fight, he was talking big and saying that, he's putting everybody on notice. And now all of a sudden, he probably sees himself in the video, and he starts to admit, I know I got to be more exciting. Now, I'll tell you this, guys. What do you guys think about what Richardson Hitchens is admitting to? That he knows he got to be more exciting. I'll tell you, why does he have to be more exciting? Is being more exciting going to, get in the belts? Is he going to win more by being more excited? Is he trying to please the fans? I'm trying to understand why it is that he hasn't been more exciting, understanding how he's longer, taller, faster, and more mobile than all of these fighters. Why couldn't he just go over there and just blast out Cepeda?
No, I'm going to say this. It's pretty simple, bro. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, right? Look how he fucking dominated Lomachenko. Look at how he dominated Josh Taylor, especially Josh Taylor. Fucking Sean Cepeda looked like a fucking idiot sparring Hitchens, bro. It was like, bro, you're throwing one punch at a time, right? Where's your combinations? Obviously, this guy's not gonna engage with you. You have, I don't know, bro. I was really frustrated with Cepeda. I put some money up on him, like a little bit of parlays, nothing too crazy, because I knew that he was gonna. I knew that, like I told you, if you guys go watch the Hank Henry Lundy fight, Cepeda looks like a fucking bum. You know, I thought he lost that fight, so I didn't really expect. I was like, are we gonna get, you know, a badass Cepeda, that one that came to fight versus Regis, or you know, that Russian guy, or are we gonna get a guy that puts on stinkers? And like I said, he's the worst fighter that Freddie Roach has ever had. And I think in this fight, he was being trained by Manny Robles. So like I said, we got the worst fighter that was with Freddie Roach. That's the fighter that showed up that night. And I was like, damn, Cepeda. I know, Hitchens is only 24 years old. So, of course, he's supposed to put on a stinker, because at the end of the day, he's still learning. But Cepeda, at age 33, bro, you're in your prime. Look what Terrence Bud Crawford just did to Errol Spence, and he's 36 years old. You mean to tell me a 24-year-old with as much 40 fights of experience that you have, you're not able to show these young kids some new tricks of the trade? He looked fucking scared. He didn't want to engage. He didn't want to throw a bunch of combinations. He threw the wrong punch selection. It was horrible. I was just like, bro, get out of here. This is why you're never a champion.
Yep.
I've known who you are since you laced up the gloves. And even though I'm proud of you, because at the end of the day, he's still a winner in life. He has like 35 wins to like 4 losses. He's not just losing to anybody. He's losing to very good fighters like Jose Ramirez out of Fresno, Regis Progreso. He's losing to good fighters, you know. But I'm just kind of like, damn, bro, I'm rooting for you to be a champion. Show us that you have that champion spirit in you. And he just did not show that Guerrero. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, get him out of here.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, look.
To answer your question for Hitchens, again, going back on Teofimo Lopez, he's at the same age as Hitchens, and he has to put on. And Teofimo puts on dominant performances. I expect Hitchens, if you're able to dominate at outboxing these veterans, you can also hurt them, especially if you're snapping their head back. So you got to press the action, press it forward, because if you want title fights, if you want Teofimo Lopez next, he's not going to want to fight a runner. And that's what he looked like, a runner.
Yep.
So no thank you for both fighters. Cepeda, you know, you can be a tune-up or a gatekeeper for all these young up-and-coming fighters and collect the check. And as for Hitchens, you got to go fight somebody, a killer, and come out fighting. Because I don't want to be put to sleep. That shit is boring.
Yeah, man. I was trying to watch that fight. I had something else. I had something else come up, but I wasn't watching that fight just because it looked boring.
You didn't miss nothing.
Yeah, it looked boring, man. Like Mexican boxing said, he just ran, hugged when he got in danger, and you know. I mean, that's what I seen that literally for like the first 20 seconds, and I was like, okay, I gotta do something else, because I know it looks like Hitchens. I put a decision on Hitchens, but I mean, it doesn't mean that. I mean, I'm happy or sad that these guys lost. I mean, I feel no ways about no boxing human ever, because in reality, that, you know, they got normal jobs like us, you know. So it's like, it's, you know, it's crazy how people, it's crazy how people hate on you for not going for your own people. It's like, I don't care, bro.
Yeah, it's because he's ridiculous. He thinks he has this like pride or orgullo that you always have to side with your people regardless.
I didn't know that existed.
If they're robbing you, if they're stealing from you, hey, bro, they're still good people. No, dude, we're just boxing.
I can talk wider too. I can talk wider if I wanted.
Bro, like,
yeah, man.
He's
bro.
Ridiculous, bro.
Let's go to the gym, man.
Hey, bro.
You didn't say let's go spar. Let's go spar
with your own people and never talk bad about them. It's like, bro, it's literally constructive criticism. But you know, whatever, bro. This dude's dumb.
No, look, it's actually good, because if we start getting the race baiting Mexican channels hopping over here, like, it's good for us. We're gonna get a bunch of. Now all we have to do is piss off the LDBC, and once we get, if we get the LDBC, we're good, bro.
I'm gonna end up sparring.
There's no super chats and shit.
I'm gonna end up sparring some of these guys. I already know. I'm gonna have an appointment.
I don't think so, because, like I said, like, it's a toxic chat, and it's just like, bro.
Well, we're in our 20s. These guys are. Put your age down right here.
A horrible fighter, you know, he's only given us maybe 1 or 2 good fights out of his 40 fights, and I'm just kind of like, I told you, he was a horrible fighter. He's not a guy that knows how to
Hey,
fight.
I'm gonna post myself punching the bag, bro, and you post it right here. Let them know.
Hey,
Nah,
check this out. Don't ever try hard for these guys, bro. Listen, the best way to win, Drew, is just to keep on going, bro. If these guys start hopping in us, and bro, no, we don't block anybody here.
listen,
Okay.
we've given this guy too much.
Whoa! You're blocking people now, bro.
No, I don't block people.
Oh, okay, yeah. We don't block
Okay.
people here.
But that's
All
what
I'm saying is this:
saying.
if we start having the Mexican boxing channels come over here to troll, that's views for us. If
Yeah.
the LDBC comes over here, bro, we are good, bro. We'll be getting the super chats. We'll start getting commercials.
Bro,
We've made it, bro. We've made it.
It's okay, bro. Relax. I'm not into any race baiting or any of this dumb.
Yeah,
thing.
of course, bro. You know
Go ahead,
us.
Rick.
At the end of the day, it's just like, if that's how it feels, it just shows his insecurities, bro. It's just like, bro, you look into color way too much when you just be enjoying some good ass boxing.
Yeah, it's like this. Look, we have people like we have people like, well, I'm just gonna take this opportunity to commend people like Mr. Vince Vargas, right? He has his favorite fighters. They do happen to be of Mexican descent, right? That's great. But he's fair and unbiased, and he's able to be objective and say, hey, I know a little bit about this guy. I like this guy. He doesn't have to be Mexican. He doesn't have to be one of my own to give credit. That's all we do. But you know what? I mean, we do have very good listeners. We just have a couple of trolls that probably get kicks off of this. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all fun and games. Shits and giggles.
All I'm gonna say is, like, Ruben Villa is a homie, right? But I criticize him a lot. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm still rooting for him. It's not like I'm rooting against him. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, bro, I expect a knockout because Brandon Valdez is like, if you want these title shot opportunities, this is what you have to do. You have to put on a show. Same thing with Richard Hitchens. It's like, nice win over a veteran. This is your first test. And John Bow's a kid, but I'm like, bro, you have to look impressive. And if you have an opportunity to knock him out, this is where it becomes a good win versus a great win. And that wasn't a good win. It was just, tomorrow I already forgot about that victory because it was just unimportant. And in no way in hell am I going to recommend that fight or performance to anybody. I'm just going to be like, that was garbage. But yeah, man, it is what it is. You guys can keep talking. I'm going to like wrap it up on my end, but you guys can hold it down.
Well, I just wanted to say, right, that I'm excited about this fight, this weekend's fight, and we've been having incredible boxing offerings, right? In fact, this whole weekend, this past weekend, all of the fights were incredible, except the main event. It was actually one of the worst performances that I've ever seen from both Sean Cepeda and Richardson Hitchens. It was actually as boring as when Tyson Fury fought Vladimir Klitschko. Incredibly boring. Absolutely horrendous performance by both. But whatever. I hope this weekend's PBC event, it's already chock full of good names, good offerings, men trying to redeem themselves, others trying to keep proving themselves, men that are trying to reach great heights, and others that are just trying to make their name known, like Jermell Mutton. That's incredible. This is a can't miss event. I can't wait for it. I think the buildup has been pretty boring. Charlo and Canelo have been too respectful of each other. I really thought that they start picking it up right about now, but I haven't seen it yet. So whatever. But I'm still gonna pay for it. So are you gonna watch that, Drew?
Yeah. I'm gonna watch it somewhere. Yeah, I'll probably end up like paying for it over here and stuff. I got some parlays going down, so I got Canelo, and then it's the undercard's intriguing because you can it's really a pick 'em between or Rick is making it seem like Lubin and Ramos is gonna be a close fight. I don't think so. I think Ramos kind of smokes him. But yeah,
Really?
I think he smokes him, bro. Honestly, he's big, dude. He's a big dude.
I know he is.
Lubin likes to exchange. I don't think so, bro. And then prior to that, Resendez is fucking gonna win. I think he's gonna beat Elijah Garcia.
Wait,
My cousin's cousin.
Hey, wait, Resendiz, he's from France, right? So it's Resendi. It's Resendi. Resendi. Because you roll off the end, you always fade it out.
Yeah, I know. And Ugas, I got Ugas over in Barrios, but no, they're gonna be a good fight. They got my attention throughout the whole night. Like literally, they've got people to stay on their asses the whole entire night for this fight.
Yeah, that's incredible. Hey, let me ask you something, Drew. Have you ever watched a pay-per-view event at the like a theater, like a big screen theater? Because they're doing that for this fight. They usually do, but they're doing that for this fight. I've never seen it, but I just wanted to find out. Like,
I had a friend that did that. He went to. I'm not talking about TBV either. He went to this other viewing, and they watched it. But yeah, my friends, like he said that there was just too many people talking. Like it is kind of like in a theater where like the view isn't being blocked. But I mean, like I don't know what it is. Is just when shit goes down, like say like you see a knockout, you want to shut up and kind of watch. And instead you hear a bunch of people just yelling. That's what he was saying. He's like, man, I tried talking and I couldn't even hear myself because people were just yelling too loud. And, so I'm like, man, that kind of sucks. So there's different, I understand why, people prefer to watch it in their own house, But
well, in my house, we really packed the place up. Everybody starts showing up. We start barbecuing. We bring out the jarritos
everyone though. When shit goes down, you can quiet everyone down though. That's the thing too.
Well, house rules.
Yeah, but that's something you can't do at a theater.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Here's another thing you can't do at a theater unless they do it, but do they allow beverages? Like, do they allow alcoholic beverages up in there?
Depends which one. I think because I know they had it for like in the Century Theater and all that. I'm not sure. They had a Canelo fight at the Century Theater. I forget which one, which fight it was for, but they didn't. I don't think they had alcohol for that either. Yeah, but I know TBV. They had their viewing for the
Spence Charlo.
Yeah, and they had alcohol. So
yeah, I wanted to go. Over there to that one, but
yeah, it seemed worth it too.
Yeah, it turned out to be a very nice little event, huh?
Yeah, I would want to go to that.
Hey, are you interested in going to watch Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis here up north in San Francisco, or maybe going over there to Glendale?
All right, so I hear views. I'm hearing stuff on that. I'm hearing.
What do you mean?
I'm hearing it may not happen.
It's taking too long, huh?
Yeah, it's taking too long. What's his name? Regis is threatening to leave or to abandon, the negotiations because, whatever's happening, Devin's lagging on his side or whatever's going on. I think Devin's trying to cook something special up, and what it is he's his own promoter. There's so much work that needs to be done, bro. Like you almost need to you need to educate yourself. You need to get a fucking degree or some shit. I know Floyd was his own boss, but pretty sure he paid for some kind of, advice, So it's all part of it, I think Devin is learning how to be a promoter, and it's showing because this dude is lagging, Yeah, man, that's the fight we got to go to, man. Really, it didn't even have to be Regis. Like as long as it was nearby, San Francisco was ideal for us. If it was like anybody, we just want to see Devin live, So yeah, it kind of sucks, but my guess is that Devin is having a hard time being a boss, and it comes with a bunch of you know, lawyer fees and all this shit. So, because everything revolves lawyers. You know, you start a business, you get lawyers. You know, you get all these people, creating contracts. So all that takes money. You know, so he's probably like, it's just the negotiations, the timeline just don't make sense. You know, it's like, come on, bro, like you can't just want like you can't just make someone sign a contract and just kind of you know abandon him, because you ain't even updating him, you just kind of leaving him in the smoke. So
Hmm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking you is because they just barely, Bad Left Hook barely spoke to Regis Progr recently, probably last night, or maybe even today, because it's been reported today that in the most recent missive, I feel like his punch resistance is just not there. Regis Progr confident he'll stop Devin Haney. Um, and it goes on to state that he looks forward towards what he expects will be a December 9th date in San Francisco to take on Devin Haney. And he goes on to talk about how he feels like he's been disregarded, but beating Devin Haney will give him the credit that he's so deserving of. So I think he's still looking forward to those plans coming to fruition. But
Mhm.
you know me, I don't like watching fights uh in person unless I'm
Mhm.
like very close to ringside. If I
Mhm.
can't get ringside seats or close to them, I'm not gonna go. um I'd rather watch him at home where I can barbecue, drink some jarritos, kick it with the family, and play good music afterwards, right? But there's that offering, and then in towards what was it? I think it's in Glendale, Arizona. They're gonna be they're bringing an event. I just checked it yesterday. They just announced it. I think it was Matchroom. They
Mhm.
announced the fight in Glendale, and I immediately checked the tickets to see if it was. Uh, I think it's Eddie Hearn. He's gonna be bringing the Texan kid. Um,
Mhm.
what's his
Who?
name?
The
He's
Texan kid?
fighting. Yeah, yeah, he's fighting Sonny Edwards. Um,
Oh,
Bam
Rodriguez.
Bam, yeah, Bam Bam Rodriguez. He's gonna be bringing
Hey,
them over
I
there.
I can get an interview with him because of Chema, my
Uh,
boy Chema.
Do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can do it. I mean, you have to start doing that, sooner rather than later, because once they start, I mean, the fight's still in December, so it's, we still got a ways away. But if we're gonna bring any of these guys to interview, it has to be pretty soon because you don't want to interrupt any of their training, their preparation.
yeah. When's that fight? When is it? This month? Is it this month?
No, 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 it's in December. There's still all kinds of time for that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no. Bam Bam comes up here, comes to the bay, and actually runs with Chema around the corner, where they usually like run.
Hmm.
Like he runs with him sometimes out here in the bay. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but well, I think it's because I think Mikey Garcia is his best friend, so he's always up here, up north and down south, working with the Robert Garcia camp. So they're up and down. And I think Robert Garcia trains him. He opened up a training facility over there in. I'm not too sure if it's in Brownsville or otherwise some part of Texas over there. A big boxing institution,
Yeah,
because he's got a lot of fighters over there. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's coming back and forth between these states.
yeah, and I think it's San Antonio maybe, but I might be wrong
I
because
think you may be right.
yeah, because they go to San Antonio and they're connected to who's the guy that fought Bivol? Jose Ramirez. Like they train together sometimes.
That
So
bum who gave a lackluster performance, and now he's fighting at cruiserweight because he can't keep his fucking burritos outside of his stomach.
that
Yeah,
boy
man.
just that boy just gave up. He just said,
Yeah.
"You know what?
Hey,
Yeah,
when is the Devin Haney tickets going on sale?
Well,
they're not
that
official yet,
not yet.
bro. He's fucking
Damn,
lagging,
what the
dude.
fuck?
Yeah, no, he's lagging, bro. Because I'm like, he's
Trying
having
to
a
get
hard
that
time.
resale value, boys.
Yeah, he's trying to get. Oh yeah, Yeah, he is, because that's what I was gonna mention with the Niners. That's like someone I know like owns season tickets. They'll do the same bullshit. They'll be like, no, it's not on sale until 24 hours before
Hmm.
before the actual concert. So it's yeah, they're trying to do the same thing, but it won't work with us, man, because it won't work with us, man, because boxing's so small.
Fucking bullshit.
It's so small. We only gonna pay like, bro, like Ruben Villa fight. How much was it? Like, oh yeah, I paid for that. It was like $80. You pay me back though. That's all good. But it was like $80. You know, it was like $80 for like middle level. You know, I think cheapest like what, 40, $50. Um, yeah, nah, and he's trying to probably get like $100 minimum or some bullshit because
Hmm.
the Warriors games, depending on what or what year we're talking about, really, they used to be like, yeah,
Expensive.
around that much, like, or like $100 when they were like,
Yeah, the
uh,
nosebleeds. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah, when they were like going to the finals and all that, it was $100 for a regular season game. So I think he's trying to pull that type of value, but it's not gonna work with us, man. Not people in the Bay now.
Hmm.
Well, I think
We-
it could work, but I just feel like, that sample size that they had with Lomachenko in terms of like the pay-per-view buys, I don't think it really sold out and they generated that much buzz. Coupled with a lot of people thinking that Devin Haney lost or whatever the case may be, I just feel like there's not that buzz circulating around him. So no, I just feel like, yeah, I just think they're just learning right now with Devin.
yeah, yeah, no, they're learning, bro. I think Devin's trying to do some slick shit. Now that I'm seeing it, bro, I'm like, man, what's taking so long? How slick are you trying to be as far as like your timing and everything? I'm not slick sounds bad. Slick sounds like you're being scandalous, but I mean slick as in like, bro, you're trying to have a pretty schedule. It's like, bro, you're gonna have to rush, not
You think
like you're
Rodriguez
gonna
knocks
have
him
to
out?
you have to stay in traffic like everyone else. What happened?
You think Rodriguez knocks him out?
There's a chance. There's a chance. I think he's
There's
from what
always a
we've seen.
chance.
I think from what we've seen from Linares, I seen that. I seen the crack. You know, I seen the deficiency, but and also, I mean, the Loma fight was pretty damn close too. So I'm not gonna say who won or who lost because that's just a whole can of worms right there. But
Well, it's not
yeah,
really, bro. It's
I'm not
kind of
too high
simple.
on I'm
No,
not too high on
Devin is
Haney.
a champion. Yeah, no,
Say it
no,
again.
I agree. Again, like going back with opening a can of worms, like Devin is undisputed. He holds all the gold, right? Lomachenko was a great challenger, but I don't feel he did enough to take all that glory away from Devin Haney. You know, did Devin Haney get dropped? Was Devin Haney cut? Was Devin Haney knocked out? No. If you
Nope.
look at every single round, the punch that both of them threw and the punches that they both landed, it was like fucking dead even, right? So I don't think Lomachenko did enough, you know, to take all that undisputed. You see, when Teofimo beat Josh Taylor, bro, not only did he outland him, he landed the better shots. He hurt him multiple times. It was so dominant, bro. So
Mhm.
dominant. After the 1 or 2 rounds, that's all Josh Taylor won. The rest, complete shutout. I thought Josh Taylor was gonna get knocked out.
Yeah,
Not one
bro.
time did I see that with Devin. You know what I mean?
Mm,
But yeah, I think Regis could beat Devin Haney. I think he learned from the Danielito Sorrilla fight. I think he realized what he needs to work on because Devin will run if push comes to shove. But I'm gonna say this: even though Devin has looked mediocre against Jojo Diaz and he looked, decent against Lomachenko, you have to understand Lomachenko is one of the most skilled southpaws up there with Alexander Usyk. Devin Haney gained so much experience in
Yep.
learning lessons
Absolutely.
that Regis
wait, I didn't hear the last part you said.
That
Kind of.
will that will work against Regis.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
Sorry if fucking my mic cut off real quick.
Yeah, your mic is in and out, but no, I heard that part. But yeah, and I think there's no type of change that Regis can really make, because of his style. He's so flat-footed, That's just how he fights. That's how he's been fighting. So I'm a betting man. I'm putting money on Devin, but we acting like this fight's finalized, dude. Like, what if it never
It is,
happens?
right?
No, dude. It's dude. I just when you left, I told Speed that I seen a post about Regis threatening to like lead the negotiations.
But that was a while back, right?
No, that was
He's
like
been
today.
saying that though. He's been saying that though.
Yeah, he's been saying that. So I don't know. I think you know, he just wants to get paid, man. You can't stop people from getting paid, man. You know, he's just trying to get that check, man. Regis is I keep saying this. He's having a hard time being boss.
Hey, yo, Drew, have you passed by the house and saw the Halloween decorations?
Damn, dude, I just seen it. It wasn't nothing up there. You're that fast,
Man, get out of here, man.
bro. I did not see anything on your house today. You're telling
Wow,
me,
bro, you need
you're
to be
telling
much
me
more observant, bro. It's been up here for like the last week.
what? Yeah, I'll check it out.
Nothing too crazy, but you should check it out, bro. It's neat.
All right, check it out. I might have to compete with you and get like a Will Ferrell something. Get something. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just gonna say that.
Hey, you guys can hold it down, but I'm gonna go to sleep, bro. I got an early flight to Texas, so
Oh my God, I
on
forgot
that
about
note,
that.
man, yeah, y'all can do your thing, but I have to probably end this because I'm not gonna wake up, man.
Yeah, nah.
Do your thing, bro. Do your thing. Yeah, I'm good for a nightcap already. How about you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm
Alrighty,
good.
guys. I don't know when I'll go live. Maybe when I come back, unless I'll send you guys the password so you guys can log in into the account. But on that
Nah,
note,
you're
man,
good. Let
I'll
me just
probably
give
see
a
you guys
couple of
after the
shout outs.
Canelo fights. But
Let me just give a couple of shout outs, homie Ricky.
good night,
Mr.
guys.
Vince Vargas, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for listening in. Adam Hurley, thank you for always providing some very informative and lightning way of presenting facts and other ways to advance the conversation where that we propose to you all. So always a pleasure. Um, Everybody else who's doing whatever funny things to act like they're super Mexican, you guys have a wonderful night. Also have fun. Throw the next guys and yeah, bring it by, bring us more views. We're good for it, guys. We're good for it. We can take the carrilla.
Mhm.
Trust me, we can take that shit all day. We're good for it. You guys don't move us at all. But nonetheless,
I'll be eating chips and salsa with my sombrero. Peace.
yeah. Man. But anyways, Drew, always a pleasure, bro. Homie Ricky, you have that early morning flight. You go and enjoy that sunny Texan heat, and make sure you have some of that brisket. Texas is known for the brisket.
Mhm.
Don't go over there and not get no brisket. If you're gonna go to Texas, get that brisket.
And send me them pics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Rick?
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right,
I just had a pincher real quick. You guys caught me in the restroom, but yeah, I'll send you guys pics and all that stuff, man.
All right.
All right, man.
Have a
Peace.
wonderful day. Good night, Mr. Vargas. Have a good one, sir.